What's up? How we doing? So super strange, super duper strange. First, we're gonna crank down the music because the music's gonna be way too loud once it comes back bumping. Whenever I turn down my microphone all the way, I have about I have my scale down to -60, and I'm showing about -60 to -55 of reading. And so I don't know if voice mod is for some reason drawing from. And I'm not gonna lie, it's also I'm reaching my gate with every single word I say. I keep turning it down, and I'm like still reaching my gate. Is it Normally my cloud lifter doesn't do that though. That's what I'm saying. It's not. This is beyond the norm, and it's also reaching the gate every single time. Is it? Am I peaking? Does it sound like I'm peaking? Bats, what's up? Bats, how is Backbone? How do I need to? I am peaking. That's super strange. I mean, I've almost got it off. I mean, I can't turn it down much lower. That's about as low as it's gonna get. And the gain's not crazy high either. What's up, Wise and Lemur? I haven't touched anything. I blame my daughter. I don't know. I did have an OBS update today. The prequel is a bit of an awkward start, honestly. Oh no. Well, you know, it ended so poorly. It's probably OBS. OBS is just boosting my gain. Is it still peaking? I turned it down like crazy. And I'm still getting up to -10, so I'm fine. My goal is always to reach -10 and not go above -5. It's better. It's not what I wanted to hear, boys. That's not what I wanted to hear. That's like it's fine. You look fine. Sounds like I have a compressor. I do not have a what's up, Love Thy Nerd. Welcome in. What's up, Raiders? I love the power of friendship gif, but the worst part about it is that it starts out with like the power of friendship, and then it goes down to here, and I'm like, for like a good 5 seconds at the end of the gift. So what's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just getting started with the show today. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for the raid. Thanks for hopping in. Welcome in Frost. Welcome in Save Point Ministries. Welcome in Supercalifrag. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Literally just started. Yeah, we've just got started. We are barely even started. Technically, we're still in like the pre-show. We're in the 5 before. I took that with me from my church ministry into this. So, yeah, we're here. We are here. Bat says, having kind of a tough one today, if I'm honest. Dealing with a lot of grief that I thought I dealt with. Oh, that's rough. That is rough, Bats. I totally get that kind of like processing. It's so weird how emotional processing just kind of like hits you out of nowhere. I absolutely feel it. Absolutely feel it. Sending lots of love your way. Lots of love and prayers. All that stuff. All that good stuff. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in. If you don't know Checkpoint Church, we're the church for nerds, geeks, and gamers. I'm Nerd Pastor Nate. This is really a church plant out of the United Methodist Church. And we have been going since 2020. So we are in our 3rd year this August, which is super exciting, super fun. We do a lot of this stuff. So we're streaming like 4 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. It kind of depends on the week. But the best bits happen in our Discord. Our Discord is super active every single day of the week. We've got stuff going on there all the times. Community building over there. And then our YouTube channel, except for this Sunday, so I feel guilty saying it. But our YouTube channel, typically every single Sunday, has a nerdy sermon posted at 10 o'clock Eastern every single morning. And it is something related to your favorite things. So it might be the current trending anime, it might be The Last of Us, it might be a video game that's trending right now. We are United Methodist Church, so that is how we are staying UMC. Hashtag stay UMC here. But mostly we just hold on tight to our Wesleyan heritage of God loves you, we love you matter. Those are our phrases. And then we also hold strong in the do good, do no harm, and strive to grow. So we're proud of our Wesleyan heritage and of our Wesleyanism that we bring to things. We want to make sure that we honor those, do all the good that we can and all the ways that we can to all the people that we can. So yeah, those are a couple of our like foundational beliefs that we build upon here at Checkpoint and the way that we work within that. And then ultimately our goal is the United Methodist goal of transforming the world by helping others enter into a relationship with Jesus Christ. So that's what we're doing here. And we do that through these streams. We do that through our Discord channel where we get to know people. And we do that through our YouTube channel where we get to connect some of our favorite biblical themes with some of our favorite nerdy things. So yeah. That's how we go, and that is how the life of Checkpoint Church goes from the day to day. We're glad that you're here, and we appreciate Love Thy Nerd for sharing the love over in this neck of the woods. I enjoyed watching the Megazord documentary. I don't know if Frost or Bubba are still here, but really enjoyed watching the Megazord doc. It looked great. Excited to hear all sorts of new stuff coming out of Love Thy Nerd. It's going to be an exciting year. I know this is kind of like a transitory year for LTN, and so that's exciting. It's exciting. My favorite day of the week, this is going to sound backwards. My favorite day of the week is Monday, and my favorite day of the month is the 1st. So if there's ever a Monday that is the 1st, I love it. The reason I love it so much is because Monday for me is like a literal reset button. I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but I get to start a new page in my calendar. I get to like set all these new goals for the week ahead, things that I get to do. And then the same goes with the 1st. The 1st of the month, I get to set all the goals for the month, all the things. I get to wipe the slate clean. I have a bunch of like things that I do. Like I always get my Amazon first reads on the 1st day of the month. Like all this stuff lines up just right. And I love that. I'm a big fan of all the fun stuff that goes on with the start of the week and the start of the month. And I feel like LTN is at the start of the month. You guys are at the start of something new. You're not starting completely over, but the slate has been metaphorically wiped clean for an exciting future ahead. I'm excited for you guys. So yes, thank you. Chats in the clap for LTN. Appreciate the raid. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope you'll stick around. We've got a fun little bit of show here for you. We're about to do our Jeopardy, so you guys can get your names on the boards if you answer the questions first. And then immediately after that, we're going to go into the Weekend Geek, which is our new nerdy news live show that we've been doing here for a little bit, talking about some of the nerdy news headlines and some fun stuff there. We actually have a level 2 member joining us for this one today, which is very exciting. And then immediately following that, we're going to play some Pokemon's White, hopefully. We might play Pokemon White, or we might end up going down another Newgrounds rabbit hole and end up playing an entire 2.5 hours of Flash games, because that is what happened last week. So just be aware that could happen. It could happen. I will not be streaming tomorrow. And the reason behind that is that I hope that you will all pray for me or consider praying for me if you're the praying type. If you're not the praying type, send all the good vibes my way that you can. I actually go before the Board of Ordained Ministry for full connection in the United Methodist Church tomorrow at 1:30. So for those of you that are not in the Methodist system, this is the biggest thing that we really do. This is kind of the crux point where you go before the board and you say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. I've written my papers, which is basically like a dissertation. And that is that. So tomorrow we have the big thing. It's an 1.5 hour long interview where we basically just sit down and talk through all of the 4 years of ministry here that we've done at Checkpoint in the year before during my residency program. And then after that 1.5 hours, I get to sit in a room until 5:30 when they're done talking about me. And then once they're done talking about me, they're going to come tell me yes, or they're going to come tell me try again next year. So we got it. We got it. Appreciate the bridge. Appreciate the bridge. All right, we're going to get into our Jeopardy for today. Jeopardy for the day. They are both double Jeopardies. So one is going to be worth $800. The second one is going to be worth the full $2,000. So you got a lot of chances to make big buku points here. Their both category is all kinds of books. So we're looking forward to it. A quick word of warning, depending on how quick on the draw you are, just make sure that when you answer the question, do not worry about putting it in question form. Typical Jeopardy rules. We play 0 typical Jeopardy rules. Literally just type in what you think the answer is, and the first one to end up in the chat is the one that gets the points. Cool? Cool. Desires to be approved for full-time ministry on Twitch, funded by the church. Not just on Twitch, but yes. So I am a church planter already. So even before they ordained me, I'm what's called a provisional elder, which basically means that I've been approved for elders' orders. I've been approved to be ordained as an elder, but I'm in this residency process where they're not sussing out, but they're kind of like encouraging growth and initial like groundwork and foundational stuff while they kind of keep an eye on me. And then after 3 years of that provisional residency, I go back and I present kind of where I'm at, what I've learned, how I've grown, and then they'll say, cool, full connection. So I didn't have to be in full connection before starting to plant a church. I just went to the conference level and I told them that I wanted to plant a church, and they were like, great, perfect, let's make it happen. And that's what led to what we're doing. So I would almost compare us more to like a God Squad church or a Lux Digital church, whereas LTN is like this wonderful umbrella of ministries. Checkpoint, our goal is to be a church, whether it's on Twitch or whether it's on Discord, whether it's on YouTube, or whether it's a totally different platform that launches next month. I don't know. Whatever happens, but we are a community that's kind of forming around things. So yeah, rock on. Okay, first Jeopardy question is worth 8 hundo. 8 hundo. Category is all kinds of books. All kinds of books. The answer: Louisette Berthollet and Simone Beck, I'm doing my best, shared credit with her on mastering the art of French cooking. I put a little bit too much Italian, I'm worried, but Berthollet. Louisette Berthollet and Simone Beck shared credit with her on mastering the art of French cooking. That's correct. Maybe 30 bats. It is Julia Child with those 8 hundo points. Bats, I see your, or not bats, Stained, I see your prayer. And I will read that in just a moment. I appreciate that. I can already see what it's about, and it means a bunch already. Next Jeopardy, before we get to that, is all kinds of books for 2,000, the big 2K points. The answer: an 1833 collection of nursery rhymes was called This Character's Melodies. An 1833 collection of nursery rhymes was called This Character's Melodies. It is Mother Goose. Perry, is that your first question on the board? I don't think Perry's on the board yet. Man, to go from 0 points to 2K points, that's pretty impressive. It is indeed Mother Goose. All right. So let's see. With that, I think one of our top three may have been dethroned. Yes. Yes, maybe 30. You dethroned Wizened Lemur. So our leaderboard currently stands with Zando in first place at 10,800 points. In second place, we have Sneaky Pigs with 4,400. And in third place, we have Maybe 30 Bats with 2,800 points. Chats in the clap for our Jeopardy winners today. We appreciate you participating in our fun little silly game. Let's see. Prayer for Stained, or from Stained for myself for tomorrow. I will read it. But it's weird because it's about me. So just imagine that this is one of you guys praying on behalf, or Stained is praying on behalf of the body here at Checkpoint Church. Heavenly Father, we come to you today to lift up Nerd Pastor Nate as he stands before the Board of Ordained Ministry in the United Methodist Church. We ask that you be with him, give him courage, strength, and wisdom as he shares his gifts, talents, and passion for serving your people. We pray for your guidance and grace to shine through him, for him to be an inspiration to all who are present. May the board members be open to the promptings of your Holy Spirit, and may they recognize the call you have placed on Nate's life. We ask that you bless Nate with peace, comfort, and clarity of mind so that he may feel your presence and love with him every step of the way. May he walk in the fullness of your calling and be a faithful witness of your grace to the world. Amen. Amen and amen. Thank you, Stained. Really appreciate it. It's like I'm equal parts nervous and not nervous. It's not even nervousness. It's just like I'm so ready. I'm so ready to be done with it. I have loved residency. And thank goodness I have, because I've heard residents in ordained ministry. I've heard some people that have done like really well with it. Some people that have not done as well with it. I have had an exceptional residency group, and I'm incredibly thankful for that. So incredibly thankful. Rock on. Well, let's get into the Weekend Geek, yeah? Let's get into the Weekend Geek. So I'm going to go hop into our chat room over here with Stained, who can now hear me. And
you're just loud.
Am I loud? I might be.
You are. That's fine.
All right. So I have a little intro for us here that I had put together, so this will be fun. And I actually realized I need to put chat on here, so pretty much as soon... I had everything set up, and I was so excited that I had things set up, and I'm going to have to immediately make changes as soon as we get over there. So this is the Weekend Geek.
No sound? What? No sound. Yeah, they said they could hear me.
Mm-hmm. And now they should be able to hear me. Can you hear both myself and Stained? You should be able to, and I'm going to turn Swoopy down. Both can be heard. Perfect. All right, now let me add chat, and then we'll get right into it. So let's see if I can find chat. That would be the miracle. All right, that should be working. Of course, my mouse is also freaking out, probably because my RAM is like maxed out. Testing. No such luck. Yeah, nice. Okay, I think we have it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this works, and we'll continue testing it and fixing it as we go forward. But as long as you can hear me and you can be heard, and we have the show notes and we're good to go, this should be perfect. All right. Well, welcome to the Weekend Geek. You saw our fun little intro that may or may not have played sound or not. And this is our current thing that we're in testing for. We're trying to figure out what we want this to look like and how we want this to feel. But my vision for this is that it is a live weekly geek news, nerdy news show where we're able to get together and talk about the things that we love, the things that we're passionate about, and also bring in some of our level 2 people. Those are people within the community of Checkpoint Church that have stepped up to say they don't only want to be served by Checkpoint, but to also serve alongside Checkpoint. And so I want to bring them in. Sometimes it'll be 1 or 2. I don't think I'll go more than 3. So it'll be up to 4 of us in a chat on here talking about the geeky things that we have and that we love. We're going to try to keep it within a 30-minute realm. That's what my goal is. But there are a lot of fun little segments and fun little things for us to talk about and discuss. And we're just going to get right into it. But hey, the chat is active, so feel free to engage. We'll let this be live because I want it to be live, and if we wanted to pre-record it, we could pre-record it. But I think it's more fun to have the chat interacting, have people weighing in as well. So we're going to start off all these episodes with the exact same question. On our Friday Discord question of the day, we always ask, what are you going to watch? What are you going to play? What are you going to read this weekend? And sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you set goals for yourself and you end up sitting on the couch and doing not much of any of those things. Sometimes you get real busy. So we'll just start off with the question and then the response to our Friday question. What did you watch, play, or read this weekend? What actually wound up happening? So you can see that question already pinned over in the chat if you're on our Twitch stream, or if you're watching this as it's been edited on YouTube. Let us know down in the comments below, what did you end up watching, reading, and playing this past weekend? I will start for today. I played Fire Emblem Engage. I have officially gotten to the point of like, I'm past the tutorial, I'm into the real story, and I'm just not sure. I'm at the point that I'm at like 25 hours, and I think I'm going to keep pressing forward. I'm going to really try and make it work. The story is not it, but the gameplay sure is. I will say, I read a lot of reviews saying that the characters were boring, and I don't think that's true. I don't think they're actually that bland. So I'm going to keep going, but we're at 25 hours in, and it took about that long for it to get interesting to me. If you liked Three Houses, you're really not going to like this game. If you liked like the classic Fire Emblem, then I think you got a chance. I'm a big M. Night fan. I love M. Night Shyamalan. I love him. Even though he's had a lot of stinkers, as many stinkers as successes. I love the twists. I love the movies. And so I watched Knock at the Cabin, and then I fell down an absolute, rabbit hole of learning about what Knock at the Cabin was, where it came from. I discovered that it's actually a book called The Cabin at the End of the World. And I think I prefer the movie version over the book version. I haven't read the book. I just read the, plot line or whatever, the synopsis online, because I was like, what are the differences? And once I discovered the differences, I get it. I don't think I like it as much. And I caught up with Chainsaw Man. So I'm now officially caught up with Chainsaw Man. And I got to say, after Chainsaw Man, so there's like 2 arcs of Chainsaw Man. After Chainsaw Man Arc 1 wrapped, I really haven't gotten back into it. So how about you, Stained? What have you watched? What have you played? What have you read?
Yeah, I didn't read anything. I did play some more Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2, I am just into the second set of Seattle Day 2. So how long's that game even been out? Because I'm like trying to avoid spoiling, but anybody who's played that knows that there's you go through Seattle in 3 days and then you do it again. I'm on the second half of the game, and I really like it. I liked the first one. This one is harder in terms of the story itself. It's tough. It's a tough one to get through. Not because it's bad or anything, but because it's like, especially the second half, because I know where it's going, or at least I know up to a point where it's going. It's fun to see how all the things that I've already done in the game are going to have an impact or have had an impact, and it's tough. But my son wanted to watch me play a little bit, and I was so glad that I told him no, because there's a scene with Abby and Owen in that near the end of that Seattle Day 1, and I was like, "Whoa, Lord!" Glad that's definitely not a child friendly scene, and so played that. I've been watching through CSI Vegas with the new version with my wife. So we're about halfway through what's current on season 2, and I also have been trying to make my way through Star Trek: The Next Generation in order for the first time. I'm near the end, I think, of season 3. So that's what I did this weekend.
Rock on. And I'm seeing some things in the chat. We've got some people playing Immortals Phoenix Rising, reading Lore Olympus, Backbone prequel, which I didn't even know existed. I hate that I missed that. So at the end of the show, we'll go over like games that are coming out in the next week. And I don't know if that was just a sleeper or if I just totally missed it, because I did not know that the Backbone prequel came out this week, but I'm very excited about that. I enjoyed that game. But yeah, lots of good stuff. I'm interested to see how many more people end up going back and playing through like TLU and TLU 2. I hope that a lot of people don't play TLU 2. I hope that they either see how the show changes it, because maybe it'll be better. I hope, as far as like a lot of the things that they've done so far. I don't want to get into like a spoiler cast on season 1, but I feel like a lot of the show has not been more hopeful, but more hopeful. It's just been a little bit better of a like thematic storytelling as opposed to just like the pure depravity of the game. And so I'm very interested to see how they change season 2 since it's been approved, and hopefully some of the changes might make it a little bit more stomachable. They'll really have to make it more stomachable, I think. I don't know if they can go as brutal Although, who can say?
Sure.
So
I don't know though. I mean, if you think about Tilu 2 and how that starts off, I was gonna put it in the chat in the Discord when you posted the spoiler, the meme of having cast Abby. You know, I was like,
Right.
I think Negan would be a much better, would have been a better for that. They've shown worse, so I think they could do that.
it's going to be interesting. We've got an interesting, exciting year ahead in video game adaptations and how all that stuff goes forward. Now we're going to get into our In Case You Missed It segment of the show. We're just going to go through some of the trending headlines, some things that we saw this past week, some of the big movements. And the first one was the biggest one to me, at least, and it was that James Gunn came out with all of the information about the DCU slate of movies coming up. So James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxy, and so many other movies has now taken over kind of the mantle of DC along with Peter Safran. And the two of them are working together to figure out what the future of the DCU looks like, because it's kind of a mess. Some people don't mind it as much as other people really don't like it. I'm a huge DC fan, and I really, really have a soft spot in my heart for Justice League. They almost can't mess up Justice League. And so even as abysmal of a watch those were, I still loved them because they were my Justice League characters showing up on the silver screen, and I was thrilled about it. But some of the things that they announced officially, it was a huge slate. I thought so. They announced first off that The Flash is going to be the thing that's going to reset everything. So we're going to see a real revamp in the DCU. And there's Stephen Ridley. I just got done listening to the Moviga podcast, who also talked about this and did a wonderful job covering this. But interestingly, said that The Flash is going to be like the greatest superhero movie ever told, which I thought was a really interesting thing that he would say that. Like, even if it is, that's really putting a lot of expectations on The Flash. Mentioned more about Superman Legacy, mentioned some stuff coming up with Batman, mentioned a telling of The Authority, mentioned a new focus on Damian Wayne as a part of the Bat family, who he claimed was everybody's favorite Robin. That is my least favorite Robin by a literal mile. I do not like Damian Wayne one bit. Mentioned kind of a different look at Supergirl, which I think will be interesting and neat. Wanted to talk more about Swamp Thing. Announced that he's going to be working on Creature Commandos, which is a really interesting series. If you've never read it, that kind of tackles some of the famous movie monsters and puts them on kind of a Suicide Squad-esque team. Waller is a new show kind of coming out of the Doom Patrol team behind that product. The Lanterns is going to be like a True Detective style show. I'm excited because it's going to feature both Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Paradise Lost, which is going to be supposedly a Game of Thrones style show featuring Themyscira and Wonder Woman and all that sort of stuff. And then the one that I'm personally the most excited about, I love Booster Gold. And so Booster Gold is going to be officially getting his own series, and I'm super excited for what that's going to turn out to be. I thought he was such a in and out character in the Justice League, and I wanted so much more from him, but I think he's so goofy, and I love his tongue-in-cheek style and approach. If they do him right, I think he could kind of be this universe's Deadpool and could be a similarly successful character. So with those thoughts and highlights, what do you think, Stained? Are you excited for the future of DC? What were your standouts, or what made you curious about this?
Yeah, so full disclosure, I have always skewed more toward Marvel, but my favorite sort of comic character is the Joker. So on a whole, I'm a Marvel guy, but specifically, I love the Joker. So anything that deals with Batman or the Joker, anything like that, I'm always down for every version of it. I don't care. I do think I haven't really cared much about the DC universe as much. I've watched the League of Legends stuff. I've watched the Justice League. There we go. I've watched the Justice League stuff. I took my son to see Aquaman when it came out. We loved it, so it's not that I don't give it as much criticism as most folks have. I think probably because I just didn't care as much. I just enjoyed it for what it was. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they want to keep giving it love and reboot it and do all the stuff, I'm here for it. I think It's all going to be fun. And I honestly never get into the weeds of criticizing superhero movies that much. I'm probably not good for that because I go into them just assuming they're going to be a superhero movie, and if it's just not complete garbage, I'm fine with it. I know a lot of other people take it way more seriously and get really upset that it's not like a cinematic masterpiece or whatever. But for me, I think it's all going to be good. I'm really looking forward to, of all of that, probably Swamp Thing most, just because it seems like something that would pique my interest in that universe. So I'm looking forward to seeing like kind of what they would do with something like that. And yeah, so but I think like maybe the story about Wonder Woman's homeworld, which I can never pronounce. So I think that one will be good. I actually think it'll all probably be good, and I think that it's seemingly a pretty coherent vision will help it, moving forward. And I think using the Flash to reboot the whole thing and open up almost like not exactly multiverse, but basically, timelines and all that. I think that's just good because it allows multiple things to exist, without people being all like upset about timelines and things like that. I'm all for that.
Yeah. Well, DC is like known for that in their comic series with New 52 and all that sort of stuff. So they're like known for resetting the timeline. That's one of their shticks that they sometimes get memed on. So I think it's a good future ahead. And I think exactly what you said. Like the vision is there as long as they're able to actually bring it to light. That's going to be the telltale sign of like where they're going. I found it really interesting. Go ahead.
I was just saying that's been their issue though, right? From the beginning, DC, every attempt so far they've all said we've got this vision and it's crashed and burned. So the question is, can they see it through? We can criticize Marvel all we want for where things ended up, but I mean, like there was up to a point an arc, that they saw through to the end. And I think as long as DC can do it, like as long as they can keep to the path, whatever they come up with, I think is going to be just fine.
Yep. Totally agree. I'm excited. I think it was interesting to me to see, I know obviously like Warner Brothers, HBO, like there's a relationship there, but I found it very strange that he kept making connections to other shows where he was like the Lost in Paradise is going to be like Game of Thrones. And Lanterns is going to be like True Detective, which no, it isn't. Like, there's no way it's not going to be anything like True Detective. That's felt like such like a. Here are some other of our legendary shows. Wouldn't you like to watch this too? Which, I mean, I guess that's one way of getting your marketing and getting your like people's brains already excited and working. But we'll see. We'll see what they actually end up doing. The next thing on the trending headlines is kind of a weird one. I think it's really interesting the way that the internet works and the way that culture picks up on trends and topics and decides what to get outraged about. And this is already kind of out of the zeitgeist. People are already kind of over this. But last week it was pretty huge how many people were upset with Mr. Beast, which Mr. Beast is just a huge YouTuber, the biggest, around kind of guy that does these larger than life YouTube experiments and doing all this big stuff with YouTube. And last week's big video was he cured blindness for 1,000 people, basically gave them a very specific cataract surgery. And according to one of the doctors or one of the optometrists on the video, actually it may have been a doctor, I don't know. But one of the people who was doing the surgery said that half of all the blindness, at least in the United States, was curable with this particular surgery that took about 10 minutes. And so this took a bunch of different directions of people being really upset about the fact that, first off, this isn't happening. And so they made it kind of a political issue, kind of a hot button political issue. Like, why is this not just covered? It's a 10-minute surgery. How is this not open for free to everyone that needs it? Other people got upset because they were like, oh, he's, a clout goblin and he's just somebody that's like taking advantage of this, curing 1,000 people thing and making this big, huge deal. I saw memes comparing him to Jesus, where like Jesus cured blindness this many times, but Mr. Beast did it to 1,000 people in one 8-minute video. And like, of course, right, it is obviously a cloudy thing. Like that's just the nature of YouTube. He wants those views.
Cloudy, no pun intended.
But it was really intriguing. So if you've not seen the original video, I highly recommend checking it out and giving it. You will not be noticed in our measly reach here, depending on how many billions of views this video ends up getting after all of the controversy is done. But I'm always curious to hear what other angles there might be to view this thing. I mean, do you see any need for the controversy, or do you think this was just up in arms for the sake of being up in arms?
Yes to both. So I think people are always looking for something to be mad at anyway. So I'm not surprised when something like this comes along. And like, honestly, when I saw it, when I was looking over the show notes and I watched the video, my very first reaction was irritation for all the reasons that you just said. But also then I was like, hey, at least 1,000 people can see better now, so on the one hand, I totally agree with the folks who get upset that people do these social experiments or these altruistic things and then record it and get all these views. However, that is literally no different than so like you take the social media element out of it, take the YouTube element out of it. I'll give an example of my hometown. There's a guy who is known as the anonymous donor. Everybody knows who the anonymous donor is, and he still goes by this nonsense, right? So we live in a world, we live in a culture that it's almost like no good deed goes unnoticed anymore because we require so much attention. So like, yeah, could he have just given the money to the medical professionals and had it done without any clout? Sure, he could have, but like that's not what Mr. Beast does. Mr. Beast exists for a reason. My kids talk about Mr. Beast all the time. So let him do what he's going to do. I'm less concerned about him getting his clout than I am the good that actually comes from what he does or people like him do. That said, the story did hit kind of close to home for me because my father-in-law was blind. He had blindness that he developed over the course of his lifetime. Retinitis pigmentosa was the disease he had, which was not curable. And so like watching something like this happen for folks who could get it fixed. They're still doing research to try and figure out how to cure my father-in-law's disease, but he never got to experience any of that. So I'm always going to side on the side of is the good being done. Honestly, is the good being done? And if it is, great. And I could care less what Mr. Beast gets out of it. Truly, I just want him. I just want good to be done in the world. So that's where I fall.
That's the big point, right? Is what he could have done better in the video. Like he had 8 minutes and 56 seconds or however long it is. And he told the story that he wanted to tell and presented it in an entertaining fashion and got the, whatever. He did the thing that got it as many views as it did. But here is what he didn't do that I would have done, and that is do more than a YouTube description. I did my due diligence and I researched. Who is this? What is he doing? He did put it at the top of the description. It is there. It's called See International, SEE, like site, See International. And they are a fully accredited 5-star on Charity Navigator, 501c3 nonprofit curing blindness. So he didn't shout them out, but I will shout out See International. And that would be the step further that I think we should go. My question of like, what would I do differently if I had that kind of thing, or what should he have done that would have eliminated the controversy? There's nothing that would have fully eliminated it. Somebody would find, like you said, people just want to be mad. But to go the step further and to not only highlight that something's being done, but then also to shout it out and to say, how can we do something as well? There you go. That's how you can support somebody. So I don't currently have our next checkathon, but maybe we'll do See International. We'll see. Like that's something we can put together as we figure it out. But if you want to support this kind of I would call it a ministry in my context, but whatever you want to call it, if you want to support this charity, if you want to be a donor, if you want to help support this kind of miraculous thing, you may not have the ability to cure 1,000 people and then also donate 100K on top of that to this organization, but you can do something for C International. You can do something for the people around you. Your church can do that. So there you go. That is what you are able to do and how you are able to help. And I will shout it out. C International, SEE International is the way that you can take this to the next level. On much less serious news and much less notable news, we have the Nintendo Switch Online voucher system coming back again this year. So some of you may remember it last year if you're a Nintendo fan like I am. But basically, you spend $100 on the voucher and you get to buy two $60 games. So you're saving $20. It's a limited list of games. Depends on how you feel about it. If you want to save that $20, it's not going to always be the games that you want. They claim it's going to be games that are the newer games coming out and that the list is constantly expanding. But they don't do this for very long. They only do it for a very limited time each year. And it may be worth your money. It may not be worth your money. I do not have the list in front of me, H-Man, so I'm not sure what's included. Maybe Breath of the Wild. Definitely not Breath of the Wild 2. It will not be on there whenever it comes out. There's no chance. I think they already put the new Bayonetta, not Bayonetta 3, but like the Bayonetta where she's a baby. Like I think that one's going to be coming out and going to be happening already like at the discounted price. So they'll do like some announcements, but there's no way they'll do Breath of the Wild 2 or Tears of the Kingdom. Anything to add to that, Stander, or are we good to move on to the next one?
Nah,
that's kind of just fluff piece
it.
there. Yeah, there's nothing to it. Another one is Knockout City is shutting down. After their 9th season and 2 years, they're going to be shutting down this June. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, why in the world are we talking about this? This doesn't feel like that big of a deal. But to me and Buish, this is a big deal. 2 years ago when they started, that was like one of the first games that we played here on Checkpoint. And so it was a little bit nostalgic for me seeing that was going to be, and H-Man, that was going to be shutting down. So a very interesting thing. I think that a game as service model is intriguing to me. And it's always really weird to see one like shut down. It's always really weird to see one not continue going forward. And I feel like so many of them are supported from so high up that they're able to just kind of perpetually go on forever. And we just never hear about anything shutting down. So seeing one that actually has like a graceful exit after 2 years is really interesting to me. Did you ever play Knockout City?
I didn't. I hadn't even heard of it until I saw this link and I read the article. So I could see why it'd be nostalgic for y'all. But if you live long enough, you live to see some of your beloveds die. So here you go.
I saw Paragon in the chat. That was exactly what I was thinking of. Paragon is a similar thing where it's like you have this games as service model that then just kind of gets canned, and you have this fan base that like loved it. Like I guarantee you, there were still enough people in those servers in Knockout City that were like, "This is my game," and now it's being taken away. So it's really intriguing to see these kind of games as service models continue to go forward. Our next story is another kind of fluffy one, which we can weigh in on if we want to, but. Some of you may have seen, I think it was on Stephen Colbert. I'm like 99% sure it was on Stephen Colbert, that Nick Offerman has not played video games in like 25 years. And the game that caused him to quit gaming was Banjo-Kazooie. So that was the last game that he played. And he just had such an intense gaming addiction to Banjo-Kazooie that he played it for 2 weeks and did nothing else and fell so down. He called it the dopamine drip. He fell so hard down the dopamine drip that whenever he came out on the other end, he was like, never again. So, did you have any thoughts on that story in particular? I don't know how he played 2 weeks of Banjo personally. I guess just collecting those jiggies, and it was fun back in the day, but I can't imagine sitting down for 2 weeks with Banjo nowadays.
You know, not necessarily the game itself, but like when I was reading that article, I thought to myself, yeah, I totally get this because when I first started playing like EverQuest and World of Warcraft, both of those things literally consumed my life to the point of being bad for me. And I have fallen into game traps like that. Like, honestly, recently here playing Genshin Impact, I realized that I had done so little work over like a 4-day period just playing that game that I haven't picked it up again since, because I was like, if I start playing this again, I'm not going to get anything done. So I haven't completely walked away from like gaming, but I get it. I get the sort of you reach a certain point in your life where you have responsibilities and priorities, and you have to just say what is most important. And right now, my family and my career are more important than not having those things. And so I got it. I was like, yeah, all right, Nick, I get you. I hear you. Now, maybe that you could have picked a better game to waste your life on, but like I wouldn't want that one to be the one that made me walk away from gaming. But
Right.
I got it. Like I understood.
Yeah, Banjo's definitely good, but it's definitely like I guess it's just so dated at this point that I'm like, I don't know. But you know, it was again back in the day whenever you were playing those games, that was all you had. And so Banjo was definitely like the first collectathon that I remember. But I definitely expected WoW. I was like, for sure he's gonna say WoW. Like WoW is what everybody gave up so much of their time to. That's gonna be the one that's gonna, you know, absolutely dive into people's schedule. I did think it was really interesting, and this might honestly be a better topic for like a level 2 podcast, but I think that video game addiction is something really real and is worth discussing. And like even Nick Offerman, who I love, I think that he's great. I've been a big fan of his since Parks and Rec, and really an even bigger fan because I was a Will and Grace avid watcher growing up, and Megan Mullally was obviously a big deal in that show, and that's his spouse. And so always been kind of in his circle, but even someone as cool as Nick Offerman was like, yeah, I was down in my basement, like playing this game like gamers do. And I was like, that's not gamers. You know, that stereotype is so prevalent.
No, but Nick Offerman is the literal embodiment of what I imagine a person living in their basement playing video games would be. If that stereotype were like universally true, he plays the part, man. So
right. Well, I mean, literally, right, as Bill living in the basement. So yeah, it fits the role. He's got the characterization down. But I thought it was super intriguing, and I'm very interested to hear more. I wonder if this will start like another trend of actors coming out about their gaming habits, because I always enjoy that.
I like that
something
too.
that would be fun hearing about. Our final news article of today is a big one about E3. So E3 has been kind of slowly, you can call it descending for a while if you want to say that. But the big news came out this week from the ESA announcing that neither Nintendo nor PlayStation nor Xbox would be in E3 2023. And this is... it probably feels like more of a big deal than it is. A couple of things that I wanted to note is that first off, you like have to know that the ESA is made up of a lot of organizations and a lot of people. And Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox are all a part of that. Like their voice is being heard in E3. There's just no reason for E3 to really be an expo anymore. You know, it's in its name, but there's really no need in that. The team that took over E3 a couple years ago, I can't remember their name right now, but they are more known for like planning Comic-Con and working with PAX. And so what I think we're going to see in E3 as it kind of figures itself out is it's going to become less and less of an industry thing, and it's going to become more and more of a kind of commercial event. Like a PAX East, PAX West, or Comic-Con might be. It's really going to become for the fans instead of for the creators, for the innovators. It's going to take a step back because now all of these other organizations have their own directs, their own ways of presenting information. That there's simply no need for them to do this at E3 anymore, and so E3 is just having to kind of adjust its own expectations of itself. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just a change. I think it's just a shift. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think with you know the big three kind of doing their own thing when it comes to, you know, promoting their IPs and getting their creatives out there and stuff like that. I don't think I was always sort of peripherally paying attention to E3 around the time and seeing if there were any big announcements, but like we get so many announcements all the time now that it doesn't seem to be, there's no purpose for it in that way, because those three, especially those big three, are going to do their own thing regardless. Like Nintendo, like has been doing that for a while. Like they've had a presence there, but they haven't used that as their platform. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think the people who are very much involved and in some ways earn a part of their living based on E3 are probably much more impacted by that, and that's not necessarily taking away from that. But I think for the general public, for the general gamer, I don't think we're gonna care much if E3 shifts to being something completely different than it has been.
Absolutely. And also worth noting is odds are we'll be getting a Nintendo Direct very, very soon. So related to why E3 isn't really what it used to be is because of things like Nintendo Direct that comes out like every February, every September. You always get this big bulk of Nintendo content. Last week's The Week in Geek was literally about the Xbox Developer Direct. So everybody else has just kind of figured it out. And so they don't really need them to be the expo. They don't really need them to be the release.
Now, I will say, though, like for a person like me that doesn't pay attention to all of the Nintendo Direct, the Xbox, like all of those things, I don't pay as much attention because it's a bunch of different things. Having it all in one place was nice. But that said, I can get the info if I want it.
Right. Well, and hopefully what better place to get it than here on The Week in Geek in the future. That's going to be our plan here.
100%.
So, yeah, that's the goal with this. Our next segment is no longer In Case You Missed It, but instead our To the Discord. This is where we'll go over submitted news on the Discord. If you would like to submit news to us so that we can cover it during the week, you can simply do !TWIG right now in the chat, or you can go to bit.ly/DearTwig, and either one of those links will take you to the same document that'll let you submit news to us. We would love to cover that kind of stuff. We did not get any news submitted this week, except for Sneaky Pigs did talk about E3 and submitted that into our work doc. And then Kung Fu Carl also mentioned the DC thing over in the discussion channel from last week's Twig. So if you want to do that kind of stuff, if you want to let us know what's going on, please do. And now we're going to go on to the next segment, which is At This Point in History. Oh, hang on, I need the voice. Let's see if I can find the voice. At this point in history! And we're going to talk about all of the cool things that happened throughout history on this particular day. So if today is way too dank, if today is February 6th, what came out on February 6th throughout history? And I think rather than just having me read all of it, we can either, I can take games, you can take movies, or vice versa, and we'll talk about them. So what would you rather do, games or movies?
Well, I'll do games. I'll do games. Okay. You can do movies. Yeah, so on this day, Shadow of the Colossus, which I still have never played.
Yeah, this is the remake version, of course, yeah.
I literally should have taken movies because I can't pronounce this next one. What, Chibi Robo?
Chibi Robo.
All right, Chibi Robo, plug into adventure. Sonic Heroes, which I do remember playing. Paper Mario, which I literally only played for the first time, a few weeks ago. And Adventures of Tom Sawyer for the NES, 1989. I totally remember playing that. I had an NES for 1 year at that point. And yeah, talk about terrible games, man. There it is.
Well, see, that's kind of where I am with Sonic Heroes, which was 2004. That would have been, I had just had the GameCube for like a couple months, and Sonic Heroes, notoriously okay, like notoriously just kind of a mid game, whereas the other ones around it are kind of, at least nostalgically very good. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm enjoying going back in time and remembering all these. Yeah, Sonic Heroes was Pog, says Bleach. It was definitely something. I remember enjoying it well enough, but not a whole bunch. Movies kind of niche this week or today in history. Back in 2015 was Jupiter Ascending, which I think was the Channing Tatum, Mila Kunis sci-fi book adaptation that I never watched, did not care at all, but I seem to recall it being critically panned.
A futuristic Magic Mike. It was weird.
Oh no! Yeah, I heard it was pretty rough. Coraline came out in 2009, which I grew up reading the Coraline book, and I remember I was a ninth grader. I would have been a ninth grader, and so I was like, it's not going to be as good as the book, so I'm not even going to see the movie. And so I didn't see the movie until years later, and learned that it was actually a really good movie. It was a really good adaptation. But I was trying to be angsty. Same year, on this same day, another really niche product that you may or may not remember is Push, which was felt very much like a much better movie was done later in Taken with James McAvoy. But if you remember Push, it was like a weird sci-fi, strange, movie that was really before its time. That probably would have been better if it had been maybe made a little later. You liked Push, says H-Man. It's definitely niche. It's definitely niche. Yep, it is Dakota Fanning. And it was one of those random movies that never really went anywhere and was never talked about again, except now on Twig. And that's why you should be here, because we're talking about these random things as we go back through history. So there you go. That has been your At This Point in History. See, now I don't know if that comes through my microphone. Does that come through my microphone in Discord, or do I just sound like a dork?
It's not coming through in Discord, so it's hilarious.
Now you know what I sound like. You know exactly what I sound like whenever I'm not having the voice mod turned on. That's very funny.
Yeah, at first I thought it's not working, but then I remembered I have the Twitch muted, so I don't hear it delayed. Yep. And I was like, oh wait, it must not be coming through, or else you're just totally trying to sound like a dork.
Nope. Just imagine it's way too dank. Just imagine Leash is just needing to share that way too dank because it is just excessively loud. Okay, with that, our upcoming releases for the week as we close up the show. Games, not too many coming out this week, but a pretty big title coming out. We have tomorrow an indie, strange, like body horror that people may or may not enjoy called Birth. That's going to be kind of a puzzler, but about like organs and assembling organs. Very strange game, but I'm into the niche, stuff like that. So I'll probably at least give it a try or put it on the backlog and see how it does in review scores. And then, of course, on the 10th is Hogwarts Legacy, which I've already seen a bunch of reviewers are dropping their reviews today. Apparently, Miss Mika, I know Sneaky Pigs dropped earlier, is playing it already, so maybe has like a little advanced copy. Maybe they're starting to get it out to streamers and see how it goes there. But other people will be getting their release on the 10th. Bleach has Dark and Darker patch out today. There's lots of things coming out. Oh, if you haven't pre-ordered, you can play it tomorrow. Okay, so Hogwarts Legacy is really changing up the release schedule. I have it down as the 10th. I guess if you want it now, buy it now, and maybe you'll get to play it a little earlier. Movies, there's not much coming out this week in the movie scene, but there is kind of a weird independent movie coming out in VR from Eli Roth, who's going to be doing Eli Roth's Be Mine, a VR Valentine's Day slasher. So if you're into the kind of campy horror and wanting to experience it in virtual reality, then you can experience another Eli Roth tale in that way. And then a TV show that is dropping on the 9th on Netflix that looks kind of nerdy. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but from what I've heard, it's okay. And that is My Dad, the Bounty Hunter. Follows the very much like CalArts style TV show and should be fun enough to see. Bleach says wait. So what are we waiting for? I don't know. We're going to find out. Where's the Netflix password sharing drama? Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that. We should go over that. But I don't have it in the doc, and so I didn't read it. But apparently Netflix is wanting to tighten down on password sharing and put out a document that did not work for anybody. It, of course, lit the internet aflame. And since then, they've had to walk it back considerably and change some of the things that were in that document. I think I foresee that we will see something once they're able to actually figure out how to do it properly. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna when I see things like this, all I can think about is, and then watch them walk it back, is they put out the most inflammatory version of what they want to have happen and see how far it can go, and then they'll pull it back and go just under what they think they can get away with. So these are calculated, y'all. They put this stuff out here to get the temperature and know how far they can go without burning down their property. But I have no doubt that this was if they could have gotten away with it, they would have. But since they're not, they know what they're doing. And every time I see something like this, even with the D&D stuff with their OGL, right? I think that's what. Yeah. They knew what they were doing. Now, in the end, they really took it in the teeth. So I don't think they anticipated exactly the kind of kickback they were going to get. But again, I think that when you see corporations do this, they know that they're just doing it to get the temperature, and they're going to use that information moving forward.
Yep. Totally agree. I think that is a very fair statement. And I think that it is. We need to understand that this is marketing. and that even bad marketing is still, or not even bad marketing, even bad news is still good marketing. And they want your eyeballs, and they want you to know that they exist, and they want you to know that they made people upset. I'm interested to see in the chat. We've got kind of all three spectrums. Bweesh has never really cared for Netflix. We all know that. H-Man says, I will cancel, resubscribe for the season of Stranger Things, and then cancel again. And then I will never cancel. I think that Netflix still does anime better than just about anybody, and I'll stick with them because they give me the anime that I want to watch. And my backlog is still so dense on Netflix that I have no reason to get rid of it. And so I don't know. I think that I agree that the password sharing thing was probably a bit more heavy-handed than they need to, but I'm just fine with Netflix. I think that it's run like a corporation, and so many others are. And if I'm going to be upset with every corporation for running like a corporation, then I'm going to get tired. But I do agree that,
exactly.
I do agree this went too far, and I'm glad they're walking it back. But I think that at the same time, I think we'll see something different. I think they'll do something. They'll figure out a way to make it happen and make it work and make the line get out of the red again, because they want to keep going forward. So, yeah. Intriguing to see where we're going to go from there. Do you pay for your Netflix? I do, and I always have. I never did the sharing thing, and that's not just me being a goody two shoes. My parents never liked Netflix, and now here we are. Another thing we're adding to the show is Meme of the Week. So this is our Meme of the Week from our Memes and Goofs channel. It actually is featuring Stained and Perry this week.
I saw that.
Yep. So this is our Meme of the Week for this week. Stain said, I just heard this statement for the first time. 2 pregnant women boxing is like 2 babies having a mech fight. Can we get this movie? Perry, I've not heard this response. I had heard the 2 pregnant women fighting is like a mech fight, but Perry brought it from the visionary mind of Hideo Kojima. And all I can think about is that little baby giving the thumbs up in the throat. And I was like, that's hilarious. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. So that's our Meme of the Week. Chats in the clap for our Meme of the Week.
Oh no. What happened? Nice. Meme of the week crashed it
Meme of the
all.
week. The Meme of the Week crashed voice mod, but we're back. So we'll try and add that in. So continue doing more of those memes over in our Memes and Goofs section. If you've not joined the Discord, what better time than right now? !Discord. And doubling down on this, since we missed the Netflix thing, please do submit your news, because assume that we don't know anything. Assume that I have had my head in the sand and missed one of the biggest news pieces of the past week. Submit news as you see it and you appreciate it and you like it. You can do that on our Twitch channel anytime by hitting !Twig in the chat, or by going to bit.ly/DearTwig, DEAR, as in like deer of a letter, not deer, as in the animal. So
Every time you say Dear Twig, I think of antler.
yeah. It is. I didn't think that through, but Twig wasn't available on Bitly, and Dear Twig was. So if you want to submit your news there, be sure to do that. A big thank you to Stained. Stained, if you want to give a quick shout out for any of your projects that you're working on before we wrap this one up.
I recently started releasing my sermons on podcasts, the Go Be Jesus podcast. So you can find that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And or you can go check out my blog at stainedglassrebel.com.
Awesome. And if you're interested in being featured on the show or being one of our level 2 members to join, the first thing to do is to become a level 2 member. You can do that at any point in time, !LVL2 in our chat, or it might even be bit.ly/level2. I'm not sure. But you can find all that information on our Discord. We would love to have you in level 2. And then once you join that, there'll be a place to react and join Twig. And currently, we don't have a sign up because we don't have enough people that are on the team yet. And so it's just now is the time. If you want to get in, it's pretty much open season. And we'll let just about anybody in to join Twig and to hop on the show with us. So love to see that happen, and love to have more level 2 people featured in the upcoming weeks here. And with that, we're going to wrap up the show with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. And that is that number 1 will be that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on Twitch, YouTube, and Discord. Number 3, we believe that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better I got so distracted by the You Matters and You Matter. World is a better place because you are in it. Folks, with that, until the next time that I see ya. Bye-bye. Nice. Okay. Cool. Well, chats in the clap. Appreciate you. Can you create a Twig cheesy news intro? I did already have one created, but I wouldn't mind having one that's even better. So you let me know. But this is our current intro. I'll go ahead and flash it again. If I can. Maybe. Hang on. I might have to do this. Boink. Boink. There we go. That's our existing one, but feel free. Hey, little Nate. I guess Stain topped out. But there you go. That is Twig. Boom Jams. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in and for being a part of it. Now we're gonna play some PokeMondays White. I gotta turn up the sound a little bit because I can't hear my spoofy, and I need my spoofy. We have a very different idea. Yeah, you said cheesy, and I would love the cheesy. So bring it. You were done, Stained. You were done. We were done. You're all good. You are all good. As always, folks, especially our level 2 members, please do give me feedback on that. If you like Twig, if you're enjoying what we're doing there, do let me know because I could use all of the encouragements and thoughts that I can get because I want to create the best kind of content that I can for you guys and to continue bringing the community in on the content. That's my big goal with this year at Checkpoint is to try and bring people in as much as possible. Backseat as much as possible and let you guys hop onto the driver's seat. So that is the game plan there. I'm going to throw you guys to a quick intermission so that I can go to the restroom. And then whenever we get back, I will be back with some PokeMondays White. Should be fun. Catch you guys very soon. Cracking noises until you end the strike. What am I supposed to do? You guys like the cracking noise?
How does it sound over over the fancy microphone?
Give me more
That used to be how I would do the Predator.
Oh no, a thing shot out. All right, well maybe that was the problem. There's a little thing in there. He has chronic fatigue.
I don't know how it sounds over the
Needs
microphone.
some help. Now if I like wave him around,
I used to tell people that I could
just not feel it. It's because it's not
my neck
Christmas
like
yet.
brings out
Really
the
happening
best
at
in
long
me.
last.
Unlike the violent
fed up.
heat
I can't do
of
it
August that fills
anymore.
the space between the
Spectrum
dirt
has
and the
pushed me too
heavens.
far. You've
Only
done-
a
you've
handful
done too much this
of
time,
moons
Spectrum.
prior to the golden treetops
And you were here
the
for it. The folks that
ritualistic
are in the
pumpkin
chat
and
right
maple
now,
that
you were
stirs
here
our
for this
hearts and
monumental
reveals
moment
our
where I
need
finally
for stupid,
am
cheering
broken
things.
like the bat by Spectrum.
Tried to,
I'm
it
putting on my
almost
to-do
worked.
list
Some lines
right
really
now.
worked well. All right, next stanza.
Call
So in between the stanzas, Shorty, oh my angel, you're my darling angel.
All of you
Closer than my peeps, you are
here.
to me.
All of you that are here right now in the chat,
baby.
you're a part of this moment. You're going to get a badge that says you were a part of this moment of Checkpoint Church history. I'm not even kidding. Do it, please. Make it happen. If you know how to do it. If not, I can look into how to do it. But this is a moment. I'm calling Spectrum.
I swear you walk away for 2 seconds.
I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what the difference is going to be, but we're getting...
You walk away for 2 seconds. I try to make stuff work really well. I try to make stuff work really well and be really convenient. And the more convenient that I try to make things, the more irritating it gets. What is that about, you think? What's that about, you think? Why can't the things get easier? So my assumption, I have it set up so that whenever I go to intermission, it will it'll autoplay a random highlight reel. So it's always a different one. The tricky thing is that in order for something to autoplay, it has to be told when to auto stop. And so if I click out of intermission and then back in, then it's going to start one, and then that one is still going. And it's very challenging. You almost have to watch to the end. I'm sure there's a way to get it to auto cue off, but it's not very easy. There's always something. There's always something. At least the Seinfeld base works, you know? That's something that works. The Gachapon works. There are things that work and there are things that do not. And most of them are the things that do not. All I know is nobody mentioned Flash games, and we're going to go play some Pokemon White. Whatever you do, don't mention Flash games. And hopefully, Lord willing, this will just work. Whoop. Nice. Wouldn't dare. Don't do it, Bats. And this is probably going to be incredibly loud. So let's do this, bad boy. Let's load a state. It's definitely this one. And just prepare thine ears. No, it stayed paused. Wonderful. All right, let's take it down. Let's take it down a notch. See if that's too loud. It's a little loud. Okay. And now we get to play some PokeMondays. What a day. What a day. By the way, this is where we ended last time. Yes. Thank you, everybody, that made our Checkathon last Friday such a success. We reached our goal. We raised $500 for the American Cancer Society. That is fantastic. I appreciate all of you that donated. T-shirt to come out soon there, and very cool. Just got news that my motorcycle helmet has been recalled for failing a penetration testing metric. Oh no, Bats. We got to get you a new motorcycle helmet. I guess I'm glad that at least you know. I mean, I'd rather know than not know, but I'm sorry that it was recalled. That sucks. Hi there, did you find something? Oh, I did. I don't remember how to do the buttons. I think we're just about done collecting data. I must be crazy stream-lagged. The cave has been around since the distant past, but data to prove that Clink existed more than 100 years ago. So that must mean Clink suddenly appeared 100 years ago. Where Pokemon came from and where they're going, if we can learn that, I believe we can get along even better. I have a spare for people riding passenger. I'll be okay until I can replace it. Well, that's good. That is good. No, what, Chick? Pokemon are mysterious. I wonder why these amazing little guys stay by our sides. Okay. You can hack your helmet. I can't ever remember which buttons are which. Okay, we got a level 30, 27, 28, 29, 26. Everybody's looking good. Everybody's looking good. I've been slowly but surely setting up my vertical recording too, and I just noticed there's an error, so I'm going to do that real quick. You know, it's another thing that made me feel real dumb. So, like, the thing with OBS is that it does have a lot of issues. It has a lot of issues that drive me crazy, but it also has some issues that are operator error. And one of those is that I learned that OBS scenes are lockable and sources are lockable. And there's a lock. There's a lock right there. I mean, how would you not know? What in your brain would not let you know that that lock means it locks it in place? I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason that I didn't know. But I didn't realize you could lock things in OBS. So I could have been locking things this entire time and not have to worry about them moving whenever I'm trying to do things. Whenever I set up this DS, it was such a headache. And I could have just locked every other layer so that it wasn't a problem. But instead I didn't do that. Getting enough rope to shoot yourself in the foot. If you're willing to take the time and learn OBS, it really is great. It really is great. It's amazing what it can do, but it sure is open broadcasting software. It is open. It is open source as all open source can get. Layered scenes is how I figured out that myself. Yeah, I think that's I would have learned had I had any idea. Does Moses have any flying type moves? He do! Or they do. She do. She do. Moses the sheep. Do not like Girder. Don't care for them. Not one bit. Not a fan. Hashtag not a fan. Folks, we're getting Mexican food tonight, and I am thrilled. It's my favorite. My favorite genre. Oh! Put me through the ringer this time. Do I have anybody that can take down Churchy? This is about as bad as Zubit. I do think that Twig is a fun way to start Mondays. That's my 2 cents. I think it's a fun way to kick off the week. I would advise that everyone go check your Discord passwords, because I don't know if there's been like some major internal leak or something, or if it's just that I've been hacked in some shape or form. But I have had to change my password twice in the past 24 hours. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. But that's not swell. So I'm about to just go on a total password binge and just destroy all of my passwords and start from the ground floor. Because somebody wants my information. And I like that to myself. I happen to be quite fond of my own information. I'd like to keep it to myself. Playing. Oh yes, I never read your Shining Pearl comment earlier. Tell me more about that. Had my mind blown when my whole party got shared experience and the field accessible computer boxes are weird. Don't hear Pokemon being caught. I feel too old. Start over with a public key-based password keeper. I've thought about it. I might. It's about time. My excuse for not getting those was always that I already had all my passwords and it'd be irritating to set them all up. But if I got to set them all up anyway. I really liked. A lot of people were mean to Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I really liked it. I thought they did exactly what they needed to do. And I enjoy the shared experience thing. You can turn that off in the menu. Oh! Come. What is happening? A bunch of long-haired Brendans. There are stairs going down ahead. Team Plasma is waiting for you there. The good ones generate really strong passwords and integrate with all your things. Yes. Well, I was thinking about going with the good one, but I might also go with the one that's called like Uncle Bob's 1Password or something. I was thinking about going with Uncle Bob's. I agree. I don't care about the platinum quality of life integrations that weren't added nor the story. It's a good game when compared to, it works. It did what it needed to do. I thought it was just fine. I am kind of surprised they never added in any platinum DLC. I'm a little surprised. They did add some, but I'm surprised there wasn't more. But they didn't. Uncle Bob is definitely trustworthy. He only stole my gutters the once. Just the one time. Wrong move. Literally the only move that doesn't affect me. And the one that doesn't stop. Delightful. They cherry picked it, yeah. Well, aren't we in a bit of a pickle? Probably should take roll out of spot number 1 whenever I'm not paying attention. Got Jirachi in the first 20 minutes in Floroma Town and was very surprised. Yep. Fontafana, what's up? Welcome in. Glad you're back. We're playing some Pokemon White this week. Hopefully sticking with it. We'll see. Realize it's because the 1 minute save on the Switch. Yep. Yep. That's where you got it from. I'm really in a bad spot right now. I'm worried Ditto might die. Tried to raid you during your charity stream, but I didn't realize you didn't have raids on. I should. That's very strange. We just got raided minutes ago. Look at that. By the skin of my teeth. Wow. I mean, we couldn't have gotten that one much closer. Oh, nope, we died. Nice. Nice, dude. Man, I thought there was a chance. What a delightful time, huh? All right, let's see if I got any vibes. We do. Weird. Sorry anyway. I hope the event went well. Hey, it's the thought that counts, and I appreciate it. It did go great. We reached our goal of $500 for American Cancer Society, and that's wonderful news. And appreciate you wanting to rate us. Very cool of you. What were you playing? Or have you streamed today? Or if Friday was your last stream, what'd you play? How was my Sunday? My Sunday was good this week. Last week's was better. I got to go to my dad's church last Sunday, and that's always really nice. Yesterday was pretty busy. I've got a lot of boxes that need to be checked right now. I'm going to be at the Church Developers Conference in April in Denver, and so I'm trying to work out hotels and ground transportation, all that sort of stuff. So, Bleach, are you going to be there? Do I get to see you? Last streamed, I was going to ask if you're going. Yep, I'm going, as is another of our you'll go if I go? Well, guess, we can make it a whole checkpoint thing because Stained is also going to be there. Or Stained is thinking about it. Last streamed yesterday, did some worship on stream, took prayer requests, just a little short. Make it happen, Bleach. I'm bringing Logan, too. You'll get to meet Logan. Well, have you met Logan? You've not met Logan. I can't remember who's met Logan and who hasn't. But she's coming. She's never been to Colorado. Sounds like y'all have a fun time. Absolutely will. Some worship on stream, took prayer requests. Rock on. Do you ever play games on stream, or is it mostly just a worship stream? I know you talked about being a worship streamer, so it might just be that. I always make the erroneous assumption that everyone that play Did I do the wrong one? That everyone on Twitch plays games, and that's not necessarily true. I forgot your IRL name is Stained. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name is Stained. It's actually a bit of a bummer because the name is so close that I do often. I like stumble. I'll play like Stained. I play games too. Working through Fire Emblem Engage right now. How are you liking it, Fontafana? I can't make up my mind on it. I'm on chapter 13. I put in about 25 hours. I will say this in favor of Fire Emblem Engage. Holy moly, is it tough? I normally do hard mode and I do classic with Fire Emblem. I have yet to do a single map except for like the first like 3 on the first try. I'm having to do every map like 3 or 4 times. keep myself from dying. The AI is so smart and devious. I agree, it definitely has some Awakening vibes. I think that Awakening did the Awakening had a better story, in my opinion. But it's very different from Three Houses, and I think that's what's tripping me up. Yes, unlike mine. What would even be a parallel name of Leash? How would you make that work? Does anybody's name start with Bua? No. No one's name starts with BW. There's no way. Can't. Who's your favorite character, Fontafana? I'm currently team Brian and Brandon. I love that Baps and Perry both went to the same like brain space. Blake. Love Sage so much. Sage is great. Who am I really liking? I like Chloe, although I want her name to be Chloe. I always gravitate to the Pegasus Riders. My favorite character in the original Fire Emblem was Florina. Like, I always go for some reason, I go for the Pegasus Knight. I might have talked like that until about 7 years old. Fascinating. Our daughter just had tonsillectomy, you know. And she's not doing the L's and W's, but she is like really talking in the back of her throat. Like it's like noticeable that she's like favoring her tonsils. And we saw that can take anywhere to heal from like 2 weeks to 6 months. And there are plenty of people that keep that speech impediment for their entire lives. Chloe is wonderful. I love foodie characters. Yeah, she's super fun. And her little interactions with everybody that talks about the foodiness, it's very fun. Are you going to the developers or planters? Well, I am not a developer, so just planters for me. Just planters for me. I don't know if Stain got invited to developers as well, along with his developer. I don't actually know if Stain's developer is going to be there. I assume. But I will be there. I will actually be there for a long time. We're taking the whole week. We're going from Sunday to Sunday. It's Logan's first time in Colorado, so we're doing a vacay. Very excited for it. Might drive, might fly. I will not be driving. That would be a crazy drive. Developer will be there. Mine will as well, I'm sure. I haven't actually gotten confirmation, but I would be very surprised. Need to take a vacation, starting to get crispy. It's important. Very important. I'm a big proponent of pastoral vacations. Gotta take time off. Get that pulpit supply in. Get your lay leader, lay servant up on the pulpit, one or the other. Get a break. You deserve it. You need it. It's important. And it's for your congregation as much as it is for you. Big supporter. Oh, I do have some potions. You could even do a staycation. Because it's not like there's anything to do in Asheville. It's not like there's everything you could ever want to do. It's not as if everything exists there. I know exactly who I'm calling about Pulpit Supply, our guy Dorian. Yes! Dorian's the coolest. Dorian is such a friendly extrovert that he friend requested me on Facebook, and Facebook was like, this guy's got too many friends. You can't be friends with him. And I'm like, I'm not even close to the too many friends on Facebook mark. I think it's like 3,000. It might even be 5,000. I'm not even close. I'm not even close.
His extrovert aura. You know that Bochi the Rock meme that I shared forever ago? That was like, the extroversion, it's killing me. It's sapping my power. That is how I feel around Dorian. So extroverted. I can't even handle it. A great guy. Just feed off each other. Ugh, not me, man. My poor little introvert spirit. Like I came home from lead and just crumbled into nothingness. That was my like return home. And all my extroverts were like, yeah, I can't wait for the next thing. Let's go. All extroverts also sound like Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know if you knew that. That's just canon. So, I mean, that just is what it is. Fauna, now I want to play Fire Emblem. You got Fire Emblem in my brain. But we're playing Pokemon White. We're playing Pokemon White today. Yeah, we have it. All right, lunchtime. See you, boys. Thanks for your lurk. Zando, got your movie game. Let's make it happen.
Just open the gotcha already so we can get back to trade, Kakarot.
Did I just hear someone talking? Oh, it was the Gachapon. You redeemed a Gachapon. I was like, what is happening? It's so quiet. Your movie game of the today is okay. A comic book writer falls for a gay woman who brings the Gaylord home to introduce to the folks who gifted her with life and genetics. I see what they did there. They did a little double pun. They did a double pun there. A comic book writer falls for a gay woman who brings the Gaylord home to introduce to the folks who gifted her with life and genetics. That's a lot. That's a lot, but I like it. Let's go with Gachapon. Where's the link? I actually overfilled the social battery. I ended up with a people hangover, which hasn't happened to me in years. It was a lot of people. It was a lot of people and a lot of good discussions. Hey, Zando, how appropriate. What's the hint for the second one? You definitely know it. Man, you're getting me to say all of the words. I can't give you a hint on the second one. I can't. I've already said too much. What's a good hint? No, I cannot. I cannot. I'm trying to think of a pun off the top of my head, and I don't have a pun. There's the one word that I'm not allowed. I'll go places, but that's one that simply cannot be. Pun. DM me? Sure. I guess that's a safe one. It's not actually a dirty word, it's just meant to sound like one. And then you also pulled a movie game from the gotcha, so I'll get you a second one once you're done with that one. And while you're doing that, I'll come up with a dad joke. All right, our dad joke, as redeemed by Zando, is...
Oh, that's not very tasteful. You would think all the dad jokes would just be cheesy. It is that one. Chasing a meet the parents. Chasing a meet the parents. Yes. Chats in the clap for Zando. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Next one. Do you say biopic or biopic? I say biopic, personally. Biopic chronicles the flamboyant rise of rock's most beloved frontman from We Will Rock You to member of youth hockey team struggling to adjust to prep school life without Coach Gordon Bombay. That is very funny. Biopic chronicles the flamboyant rise of rock's most beloved frontman from We Will Rock You to member of youth hockey team struggling to adjust to prep school life without Coach Gordon Bombay. That's very funny. We agree. You say biopic and biopic. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see. All right, your dad joke here is: my wife and I decided. This almost feels like a what's his name? I don't get no respect. It almost feels like a Dangerfield. My wife and I decided not to have kids. The kids are taking it pretty hard. Dad joke. I almost need the Seinfeld track back. It is indeed Bohemian Rhapsody 3, The Mighty Ducks. Bohemian Rhapsody 3, The Mighty Ducks. Chats in the clap for Zando. Nailed it! Yep, Zando is indeed incredible at this. Okay. We gotta fight and then they'll heal me? That's fine. You should make the dad jokes a game. Can we guess the punchline? Sure. That sounds good to me. There's a storm coming. Yep, we can absolutely make that happen. Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to get another one and we play the game? I can do it. Some of them are like that. Some of them are punchlines. Other of them are not so much. I'd redeem more, but my checkpoints, but I'm checkpoints poor due to a lack of you going to Target. Man, I still haven't been to Target. It's been a long time actually since I've been to Target. It's probably been. I don't think I've been since the new year. Sad. It's a sad life. Let me get another dad joke. Water went into my lungs instead of my esophagus. Okay. I don't even get that one. Why was the farmer arrested at the gym? Why was the farmer arrested at the gym? Something about bale or bales of hay, probably. That is, hang on, I've got it. Hang on. Wrong! The farmer was arrested at the gym because he was destroying his calves. Oh, chats at the clap. Nice. That's all that deserved was a nice. Absolutely agree. Wholeheartedly agree with the nice. And then Sneaky Pigs comes in with the ha ha ha. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good joke. Funny joke. We've been in this cave for like 3 years. I think it's mainly because we were here last week, and then we got distracted by Trapped. Speaking of which, I did join the Godlamations Discord, but it turns out that the guy that was making them has quit and isn't interested. And so there's one guy that either like helped or something and is sort of working on it now, but it was a weird like relationship of working and not working. And the guy who originally made them is not involved anymore, but the guy who is now like either porting them or something, I didn't really understand what his role was. He's in a different spot. Probably not going to end up getting him on the Nerds of Dread, but I would love it. How cool would that be? I am very excited to have this vertical video thing set up now. That's very cool. Now I just need to do something funny. Now I need something notewortzy. I just need to do something noteworthy and worthy of the TikTok. I put out a TikTok today that I think Xando would appreciate. I am Big Brother. I am little brother of the Nugget Brothers. Glad you showed up. I wanted to give you this. It is Nugget. We got our daughter's Valentine's Day list. And one of the kids' names is Mary or Marie, depending on how you pronounce it, or Mari, and it's spelled like I pronounced her name Mary from Memory. And so I made a tic tac. If you can win against me, I'll tell you the secret. I made a tic tac with By Your Side playing in the background. Made a tic tac. You know, what all the kids nowadays are making. Those tic tacs. What's strong against ground? Is fire strong against ground? I think it might be. I wish I could be better at making those tic tacs. Ground is strong against fire. No! I got it backwards. Water and ice. I don't have. Oh, I guess I do have. I have Bryce cream down here. I guess that makes sense. Ground would cover up fire. You would think after all these years I would just have it memorized. I have some of them memorized. Ground is not one. Had to clip you getting freaked out by the auto gotcha. Well, I'm so not used to it. Xando, were you here whenever I really got freaked out by my own creation? And everything exploded into flames? That means both you guys, I've got to have more funny things happen today because so far we've had 2 clips that have both been about my ineptitude. And I'm gonna need that to not be the only clips we get from this one. I'm gonna need some clips that aren't about how bad I am. This is not the encouragement I need going into tomorrow. Is Scraggy fighting type? I think vaguely that Scraggy might be. Dark. So it's not coming out of nowhere that I think that. Ayo, must have been super effective. Unless flying is super effective against the target. The Watchhog is, I'm pretty sure, just normal. Scraggy is definitely not one that I have in my team very often, which is surprising to myself because I would think that I would use Scraggy since he looks so much like Dino Kid from Undertale. But nope, they're both dark fighting. Okay, good on me. Next. Another Scraggy. That might be enough. Not quite. Halfway there. Don't be confused. Nice! Chuck! The best around. Nice. Another one. Nope. Oh! Dynamo in the caves? In the caves? Have you considered playing more Marvel Snap now that they've brought in friendly battles? It's been so long. It's been so long. I don't know if I even can compete anymore. I mean, I would consider it if people really wanted to play. But I haven't played in forever. Whenever I fell out hard. I don't even think I've logged into the app since. Ant-Man time, that makes sense. Quantumania coming out and all that good stuff. Still hooked and I love it. I know that, Frost is definitely still in deep. I've seen that Frost has been playing on his personal screens and having a ton of fun with it. I'll think about it. Obviously not tomorrow, since we won't be live tomorrow. There are always people starting the game late. You'll be able to compete with late comers to get more things. You're not wrong. I'm pretty sure Liepard is dark type, but it could always be normal dark. I have gotten back into Pokemon Go because I'm going my walks again now. I'm back in the swing of my walks. Because it's apparently just not going to be winter this year. So I just started going on my walks again. And I keep running into the same thing over and over again on my walks of... It's like once a week or maybe once every other week, I'll run into the Galarian Zapdos, and I'll use the Golden Raspberry to catch it, and I will use an Ultra Ball, Golden Raspberry, and excellent throw, and I never get it. Curved excellent throw, and I never get it. I've had it appear 3 times, and every single time you only get 1 catch. I use my strongest raspberry, I use my strongest ball, my strongest throw, runs away. It's very discouraging. Michigan is still covered in at least 3 inches of snow. It's definitely winter this year. Nope, I don't believe it. Not North Carolina. Didn't happen in North Carolina this year. We did get the spy balloon, though. We got the spy balloon. Right over my head. I could have taken a picture of it. Should have. Had I seen the news before it was over my head, I would have taken a picture. Real salty that I spent the last year and a half walking Neubat to get 400 candies so it could evolve, and now there's going to be a community day. Oh no! Oh, that is a bummer. I would lose my mind if we had a Delibird community day. I'd be overjoyed. My poor little guys. You mean the holiday season where Delibird is everywhere? Yes, and then he's nowhere else the rest of the year. That makes me so sad. I wish he were more everywhere. I wish he were as everywhere as, like, Zigzagoon is. All that I had show up this holiday season were a couple Delibirds and a bunch of the ice one. The one that's like a glacier, Bergite or something. That's a stone. That's an actual stone. Literally a Delibird out in my house right now. Dando, it's because you're in Michigan. You're in snow. You're in Snowland. If I were in Snowland, then I would have more Delibirds, but I don't live in Snowland. I live in all 4 season North Carolina. Sometimes 3 seasons. I'm just tired of using Chuck. I keep using Chuck and I need to expand the rest of my team. Definitely gets all 4 seasons. Some just stay longer than others. Well, that's good. I'm just thankful that I don't live anywhere that gets summer season much longer than others. I do not like summer. There are a lot of people that don't like winter. I'm one of the people that doesn't like summer. I like fall the most, then winter, then spring, then summer. I would probably like spring more if I didn't have allergies. Fall also just has a better holidays. $35.95. I cannot imagine being so into Pokemon that I know the power. You know? I'll gladly take winter over summer. I keep myself warm. I can't cool myself down. I can only take off so much clothing. Yep, agreed. Hard agree. I also currently really like snow, but I have a feeling if I lived in your scenarios, Ando, snow might not be as much something I love. Fall is the best, as my high school science teacher said. Fall is the best because everything is dying. Yay. Hashtag emo is never dead. So I did get the Pikachu and Gengar Squishmallows. For those of you that didn't know, they made those. And I went today, and I was at Walmart again today, and saw that all they have left is a couple of Pikachus. Gengar already all gone. So heads up to Xando and Perry, since I know your kiddos love Pikachu. Squishmallows are out there. I did get Nora a Pikachu. We're currently having a bit of a potty regression, and so that was her prize for staying dry for a couple days. I love the snowy winter, but I have learned to really hate ice with a young driver in the family. Ooh, I'm mad. Well, I'm sure it is gorgeous in your neck of the woods. I did on purpose too. Definitely on purpose. But yes, the little Squishmallows are chilling. Gengar Squishmallow here. He's very cute. He's got his little hands, and he's got his spikes on his back, and his little tail. He's very sweet. They are not legitimate Pokemon Center ones because they do not have the Pokeball stamp on their behind. And then Pikachu. Oh! We got the big Orbis Pikachu here. Similar thing going on. Very squishy, very fun. Has the ears, no spikes obviously, as it is Pikachu. But these are raised. The stripes on its back are raised, and the tail, obviously attached to the top. But super cute, Squishmallow. So, those are officially a thing. And cheaper than I expected them to be, if I'm being totally honest. I found them at Walmart. I don't know where else they might be carrying them. I don't know if they're a Walmart exclusive or not. I'd be surprised. I know the Pokemon Center has them, but I don't know if you have a Pokemon Center near you. And then I would assume Walmart would be carrying them near you as well. They're much less expensive than I thought. I really thought they were going to be like $30 or something, and I think they were like 14 bucks. I think I'm right about that. Yeah, they're super cute. Perfect gift for a child who loves Pokemon or an adult and wants an adorable cuddly pillow. Well, there's a bunch more. I really thought I was going to heal before, like, one more before the boss, but there's a bunch more here. There you go. If either of your Bambinos need one, Perry and Xando, there you go. Or anyone else's, obviously. Something that I want to get better at on streams is taking breaks. And so I'm going to try to do like a break every hour for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So we'll do that here in just a minute. Once we hit like probably 257, 258. But I really want to get better at that. I think that's an important thing. I think that's an important practice, first off, because a lot of streamers don't do that. And I think we should have more that do it. Thank you for your lurk, Perry. Hope your headache goes away and gets better for you. I know that's awful. But yes, gonna try and make that a better practice and something we do a little more intentionally here. Plus, it's just good. It's good to get up, go stretch, rest your body. Rest your body. Just for a minute. I've done it. I made your new Twig intro. That's amazing, H-Man. Do send it to me. Do we need to watch it right now? Well, that'll be the perfect transition. We'll take a break from the game here and watch this Twig intro, and then we'll take a quick little break. Let's do it. Let's see. Where have you sent it to me? In Discord? Are you going to DM it to me? Let's make it happen. Probably turn up audio. See if it will. Or you could always Dropbox it to me. It could always be something we do after break too, if it's going to take a second to upload. Because it depends on just how much it rendered then. I forgot the Grammys happened. Yeah, it went super fast. Okay, let us watch it together. I am going to let's see. I'll just layer it over myself and try and be real quiet. Let's turn off Spoofy. Goodbye, Spoofy. And media source. Bam. 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 Here we go. Enjoy the Twig intro as crafted by our own award-winning H-Man. Enjoy. Love it. Love it. Amazing. Chats in the clap. We stan. We appreciate. Thanks for putting that together. It looked great. Yeah, actual Twigs was definitely the best part. Solid. Solid, solid, solid. Love it. An excellent transition to our intermission. Let us see if intermission works. It's a gamble. It could work. It could not work at all. You may have a bunch of videos. I'm going to stick around this time. We'll be back in 2 minutes of rest time. Still waiting. Weesh tip. So there you go. The tips are auto loading. But for some reason the alerts are not popping up.
Pog you.
Why is it so awful? How do I follow the race? How do I follow the race? Oh no, what's happening? I can't follow the race. Oh, whoa. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Mom, I'm the greatest gamer. Mother, did you hear? Did you hear that I'm the greatest gamer? It's true. I don't remember anything else about Squirtle. He's doing a T-pose, though. I accidentally drew him in T-pose, dude. All right, T-pose Squirtle. Squirtle. This is Squirtle, man. That's a cursed Squirtle as well. We're just getting all the cursed things out of the way first, dude. I tried, man. I tried. Oh, I'm telling you. Oh. Oh no! Congratulations, Christina. Woo!
have a good time, don't we? Ooh, don't we have a good time? Brrr. Full screen, I'll do it. We don't talk about checkpoint. No. All right. What happens when you're going to redeem a gotchbot from now on?
Like Scoob, I guess we better see what's inside of this gotcha.
Okay, we're going to see what happens. I'm going to turn it off. Back over to chat. Oh, I forgot to turn off this. Oh, man, we almost got it all over again. That's great. Very fun. Okay. Twigs. We love. All right, that's something I'm gonna try to do a little bit better. I went and got a little sip of water, and I got a stretch, and I hope that you guys got up out of your chairs as well. If you're working as you listen, if you're able to do such a thing, and you could take a little stretch break and get your blood vessels flowing again. If you're anything like myself, you're in a very sedentary job, and it's good for us to get up at least once an hour. It's really good for us to go and get some steps in, but baby steps. Where we go, how we do, what we make work. So that's good for us and good to do. Now back into some PokeMondays. So this is gonna be something we're gonna try and do more intentionally, like every hour. Make our best effort. Just got a really gross headache. Oh no, maybe 30. Perry's headache bled over into yours. Stop it. Don't do it. You guys quit doing that. I'm so sorry. I understand if you gotta go. Take some ibuprofen. Get going. I think this weather is not doing anybody any favors. I met with my dude, have a good time. See you at 8:30. Appreciate you. I met with my residency group this morning, and they were like, "So, what's your interview tomorrow? Like, great for you." I was like, honestly, just pray that whatever my seasonal objective decides to do tomorrow, that I'm in a good mood. Or just make it without the extra. I have things that I can do to get myself out of the rut if I'm in it, but this weather is not doing me anything. So that was my like one prayer. I was like, please just make sure that I'm the deal. Just the disgustingness of cold, hot, rainy, hot, cold, gross weather. Yesterday was so beautiful, wasn't it? Let's just go sit on the porch. That's what we did. We sat on the porch with two babies. Audio turn back up. That's something I would love to get automated. I wonder if that's possible. I would love to automate whenever I click on a certain thing, it drops desktop audio. Gotta be doable. Got to be doable. Not even because it's difficult, just because I forget. Case in point. I just forget to drop it. Not to mention this game is absurdly loud. I typically end up getting headaches because of this weather. Because of this back and forth, this up and down. Messy weather. Ooh. Everything moves. Bulk up's pretty good. No, I do. I want to lose.
I don't need Bide. I am very good at using Pokemon. Thank you. Thank you. I am quite good. Thank you. I could go back and heal, but I'm not gonna. I should probably save. It's been a while. Been a while. Wait, it said he was downstairs, didn't it? Oopsie. Am I going the wrong way? Man, I tell you, I'm about to use a repel. This really is worse than Zubats at this point. Nope, he's right here. Hey, buddy. Many different values mixed together, and the world becomes gray. That is unforgivable. I will separate Pokemon and people, and black and white will be clearly distinct. Only then will Pokemon become perfect beings. That is my dream. Check. Do you have a dream of your own? Yeah, sure. You have a dream. That's wonderful. I'll learn just what kind of dream you have in battle. The church closest to me announced their pastor is being moved in July, and all of my cabinet contacts have gone radio silent on me, which leads me to wonder, which leads me to wondering if they're planning a 2-point for me, which would effectively kill this digital church plan. Tell me I'm being overly panicky. If they are willing to send you to this church developer conference in April, I would say they're pretty keyed in on you doing this thing. That's my 2 cents. I mean, it's hard to know what the cabinet is thinking at any given moment, but if they've already started to make moves, do you believe that Pokemon battles help us understand one another? Sure. I would think you're okay. Plus, did you say your church was on board? I think if your church said they were on board. Church said they were on board. You've got as much as close to approval as you can get. I think you're fine. But I understand your nervousness. I get it. I wouldn't say overly panicky. I mean, I think it's hard to know over text how panicky you are. But I don't think you have anything to worry about. I assume typically that at this stage of the appointment process, they've got a pretty good idea of what's happening. I know whenever, so I'm sure I've told the story before about how I got appointed to my church before this, but I was actually turned down from my original DCOM who told me to go work at Subway and get to know people better. And then I got a call at the end of January, beginning of February, from a DS who didn't have a church with a slot and was like, hey, I heard what you were told and I think that's nonsense. Will you come serve at one of my churches? And so, yeah, that was the end of January, and she was in panic mode trying to make that appointment. So I'd say you're probably in the clear. They want to know what they need to present to the bishop already. I will show you that my love for my friends permeates every cell of my body. Behold! Okay. Bye. My permeation! My friend's getting hurt. That's what a Pokemon battle is. Weird. Weird statement. Weird thought. Why? Is it impossible for me to win while feeling bad about being a trainer? As if I could pursue the truth with something as meaningless as a battle. As if that could make me worthy to become friends with a legendary Pokemon. Chick! Just a little further to Mr. Alton City. Bianca, you have good ears. I can't believe you heard Check's voice from that far away. Check, who is this trainer? Professor Juniper, what are you thinking? You appear to have no qualms about the relationship between Pokemon and people. You put Pokemon into categories using arbitrary rules and think you can understand them like that. The very idea of a Pokedex revolts me. What do you have to say for yourself? Oh my, looks like you're not my biggest fan. Your opinion is understandable. It happens to be different from mine, which is equally understandable. How about if all people get to decide for themselves how they relate to Pokemon? You're saying I should just allow people to think whatever they want and treat Pokemon however they want, no matter whether the Pokemon suffer? I refuse to tolerate the existence of a world like that. Well, I didn't expect him to change his mind right away, but I hope he'll spend a little time trying to understand how others feel. Now then, I think I'll go collect a little more data. For Pokemon and people to get along better, we need to take steps to learn more about them. Chick, I'm gonna go with Professor Juniper now, because I'm her dad. I mean her bodyguard! Am I supposed to move on? Is there more to discover here? I'm ready to get to the next city. I'm tired of this cave. It definitely feels like there's more to this cave, but I'm tired of this cave. I'm over it. I've experienced this cave enough. So to move on to greener pastures. Why did he survive? Yes. Pokemon Center. I did it. I survived. Oh my goodness, that cave. That cave was so long. Gamba, you got it. Let's make it happen. Ugh. Gamba. Yes. Does Nerd Pastor Nate know how many feet are in a yard? Yes. No. 1 minute on the clock. Bet your channel points. Do you think I know how many feet are in a yard or not? 1 minute on the clock. Boop boop bop beep bop beep boop bop. Boop boop beep beep bop boop boop boop. Get those channel points in. We're at the 30-second mark. Skyla! Skyla's our city's gym leader. She's a really nice person. I only know her from her Pokemon card. Trading sweethearts? No thank you. Oh, hey, check right. Let me see your Pokedex for a moment. 0 seconds remaining. Let's see our results. One person voted 5,000 points. Yes, I do. It's 3 feet in the yard. Congratulations. Congratulations. A bit of an easy one. What do we have here? You found 64 Pokemon, huh? Staggering! You've seen a Clink! Oh, you're becoming quite the trainer. Excuse me, I was a little excited. I forgot my manners. My name is Juniper too, Cedric Juniper. The professor who gave you the Pokedex is my daughter. That girl has told me a lot about you. It really makes my day to meet you. In honor of our meeting, I'm going to upgrade your Pokedex. What does that mean? You won your own points back. Congratulations, Stain. Some Pokemon can change forms. See if you already had a Cena form, you can check it with this whenever you want. I've also added a function to make searching easier. Professor, who's that trainer? Oh, I forgot my introduction. Skyla. This is a friend of my daughter's. Chuck has been traveling around Unova to complete the Pokedex. Oh, I see. So that means you'll be challenging the gym. Oh boy, I'm really looking forward to it. That's right, Jack. You should challenge this gem. If nothing else, this gem is really out there. See you, Skyla. If something comes up again, I'll let you know. You're talking as if places like Kanto and Sinnoh are right around the corner. Oh, Skyla, if you keep frowning, your face might freeze like that, and that'd be a shame. People in Pokemon, we all have to help each other out. See you later. Sheesh. It's hard to believe a happy-go-lucky guy like that could be a world-renowned Pokemon professor. Heads up, Check. As a gym leader, I'd be happy to have you challenge the gym, but there's something I need to take care of first. Just now, as I was flying the cargo plane, I saw something on top of the Celestial Tower. I'm sure that it was a sick Pokemon. If it is, I can't just leave it there. I have to look into this right away. I'm leaving for Route 7 Celestial Tower. You can come along if you want. And you must to progress the story. In fact, you have to do exactly that. Okay, well, it sounds like Skyla's gym is full of cannons. Whatever that means. Is this an airstrip? That's pretty cool. Planes, their shapes, they're perfectly designed to fly. There's no excess in the mechanics for flying. If you want to eat delicious vegetables, one grown in the wild are the best. As weather and seasons change, wild vegetables get more and more tasty. Even Pokemon like to eat wild vegetables. Is that it? Man, if this plant falls flat after all this work, and I too meet with Born Bomb for commissioning in 3 weeks, if that doesn't work out, are you spiraling, Stained? It's going to be all right. Don't spiral. Not today. Exactly. Don't know anything till you know. Gotta take things in stride, one day at a time. But I know that's easier to say than to do. I hear you. Ooh, nice. Don't want a sweetheart. Why is everybody talking about sweethearts in this town? I don't like it. Ooh, am I gonna need to... Oh, never mind. Oh, did you see me teeter-totter? Oh, that's very fun. Whoa. That's great. I don't really know what needs to be done. Thank you for the charge beam. Appreciate. see what kind of Pokemon are in this grass. Ooh. Tranquil. Everybody's favorite Pokemon. Who doesn't love Tranquil? I forgot I had Hertz. Skylar's gym is going to be easy. Easy peasy. Gonna be a breeze. Good job. Watch it be incredibly difficult. Oh, have I caught a Boldor? Emolga's a pretty cool Pokemon. Their Pika clone from this game. Oop! And I oop. Triple battles. Now, I haven't experienced one of those yet. Is that going to happen in Skylas? Is that what's neat about Skylas? I thought it was going to happen in the first gem, and then it just didn't. Oh, because it's happening right now. Okay. Well, hey, everybody. How you doing? Oh, and you can only attack one over? That's pretty cool. Does Heart Stamp do damage? There's a lot of Pokemons on the board. Oh man, 909. A lot of experience. Oh. No. Got that one backwards too. What did I just do? I feel like I'm not full of stories today. I don't have anything to say. Oh no! Ditto! Bummer, dude. Absolutely brutal. Why is he getting so many experience? Maybe is Abamoses holding the experience share or something? I do not understand. Did I overthink it because I'm of the unfamiliar rules? It literally just felt like one rule was unfamiliar. No! No, that's fine. Of all the things that could have happened, that was pretty much the one that was fine. Stain, do let me know before you go before the bomb. The boom. I can't believe mine's tomorrow. I cannot believe it. Ooh, boy. Tomorrow at 5:30. Tomorrow at 5:30, I will know. I could potentially be done with the process. Whew. That's very exciting. Very exciting and a little terrifying. But it is so weird because again, it's not like it's not already been affirmed as far as like, you know, there has been an affirmation. But what's stressful is just that it's tomorrow. It could be done. It's been dedicated time to praying for it. I appreciate that. Very much do. I've got a team. I got a squad of prayer warriors. The stuff's already been written. I've got my dissertation practically printed out here, ready to go. I'm going to bring board games because we've got quite a gap of time in between the interview and finding out, and we can't leave. We're not allowed to leave. And so I brought some board games, and I'm going to play with the people that are there. Also being interviewed. What is strange is that I also just got all of my information for DCOM, and I'm on the other end of the table. Like, I'm the one interviewing DCOM people, and I like just got all their information. And so it's like, well, hope I'm in a good mood to read through all these papers. Sure hope I'm happy. I kid. A little. Ain't gonna get me, Dweddle. You will cry. I'm almost done reading that book that I sent you. The Bless book from Exponential. Thought it was a pretty good primer. A lot of people writing primers. That's what I'm discovering. That's kind of why I thought about, instead of launching Pixel and Pulpit, I thought about writing a book instead. But I feel like what I have to offer in book form is going to be another primer. So I thought Pixel and Pulpit could be a little bit more specific. A little bit more of a level 2, if you will. A deeper dive for people that are already in the thing. Makes sense. I hope so. It's my intention. Could also be that I've just read too many of them at this point. Whenever you read hashtag too many books. I feel like Palpitoad might be a ground type. So I don't think Hertz is a good idea. I don't have a grass type. Scolipede? Somebody's knocking on my door. I'm gonna go find out what that's all about. Cracking noises until you end the strike. You guys like the cracking noise? How does it sound over the fancy microphone? That used to be how I would do the Predator. I don't know how it sounds over the microphone. And I used to tell people that I could pop my neck like that. This is really happening at long last. I'm fed up. I can't do it anymore. Spectrum has pushed me too far. You've done too much this time, Spectrum. And you were here for it. The folks that are in the chat right now, you were here for this monumental moment where I finally am broken like the bat by Spectrum. I'm putting on my to-do-ist right now. Call Spectrum. All of you are here. All of you that are here right now in the chat, you're a part of this moment. You're going to get a badge that says you were a part of this moment of Checkpoint Church history. I'm not even kidding. Do it, please. Make it happen. If you know how to do it. If not, I can look into how to do it. But this is a moment. I'm calling Spectrum. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what the difference is going to be, but we're getting a new modem. At least we're getting a new modem and a new router. And this is just absurd. My quarter of the internet, and you can't have it. Exterminates anyone looking in her direction. Absolutely, trombone. Only a Dalek could do that. Oh, this is an example of what not to do. Don't be a Dalek. Be a trombone Dalek in particular. Trombone Daleks, as you know. Okay. We're back. Oh, that was terrifying. I don't know if you're anything like me, but my brother-in-law is a police officer. And so I should have no problem with police officers. And I don't. But doggone, if every single time I don't see a police officer, my heart races. Like, I've done nothing wrong. I know that I've done nothing wrong. But for some reason, seeing somebody in uniform makes my anxiety go through the roof. And so apparently they just had a 911 call from my address. And I was like, we don't have a phone line. So it's definitely not me. And they were like, well, do you have a cell phone? I was like, well, I'll check. Like, let me see if somehow my thing went on like an auto 911 call or whatever. And so I went and checked. No 911 call from my number. I was like, do you have the last four? Read off the last four. I was like, that's not my number. I don't know anybody with that number. And so he was like, all right, well, you have a good day. Appreciate you. I was like, yeah, thanks for your time. But like, my heart is like racing. And it's so silly. I've done nothing. I'm innocent. I insist. I'm innocent. But my anxiety. Gotta get my heart rate down. I'm gonna look back at my Fitbit app and it's gonna be like, yeah, from 325 to 335, your heart rate was higher than any human beings has ever been before. Is Shelmet steel? Oh man. We're fine. We got it. We got this. calm down. Zen. We're feeling good. Feeling good. Thankfully, they didn't come in here and see that I was playing Pokemon. Because that would have been real confusing. I can relate to that. I'm always driving carefully, but every time I see a police car, I still get anxious. Absolutely, Cybertron. By the way, welcome to the chat. And yeah, absolutely. I will be like on cruise control, driving down the interstate, very much going like 4 or 5 over the speed limit, like very much in that safe range. And if I see a state trooper like up ahead on the side of the road, I will like slam on the brakes with fear and be like, I got 10 and 2, man. I got 10 and 2. I'm fine. I ain't doing nothing wrong here. Don't look suspicious here. Which looks so much more suspicious. It is so funny. So funny. That just human anxiety to authority, man. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't get anxious? But I'm glad I went to the door. Sometimes, because we're right next to a very popular business, and people don't ever read the sign on our door that we're not who they think they are. We're not our neighbor, and so they'll knock and walk away. But it was a powerful knock. You know what I mean? It was a powerful knock, and I knew this was a knock that was like a "you're gonna come to the door" knock, and so I came to the door. I'm all out of whack. What is it with these Monday streams, man? Last week we played all these Flash games, got totally like thrown off, and now this week, I have a police officer knock on my door and make me all. Haven't played any Pokemon on DS. Do you like this version? So this is my first time ever playing Black and White. I'm gonna play Black and White 2 next, and then play X and Y. Those are the 3 Pokemon games I've never played. My favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Emerald. That's the one I would always recommend to people. I really enjoyed the latest. I enjoyed Scarlet and Violet a ton. I liked Sword and Shield. I loved Arceus. I think the Switch is doing Pokemon really well. I wish that we would have a like, what do they call them when they bring back, port the games? They had a term for it on the Wii U, and I wish they would do that again. It'd be really nice if they would. But I'm enjoying this one. Yeah, it's good. What I like about this game so far is that none of the Pokemon that you meet at the beginning are like your standard Pokemon. So like you're not catching like a Pidgey again. You know, you don't see another Spearow, but instead, all of the Pokemon in this game up through a certain point are totally new to the version. I think that's neat. Characters are good. The story feels heavier than any other ones. I think this is the first one that did the 2 rival thing. Ooh, a Deerling. That was a big thing about Black and White. You can't get any OG pokes until you finish the main game. There you go. And I think that's good. I like it. I support it. I'm enjoying playing them. Enjoying finally getting them checked off the list. They've been on my backlog forever. I got to figure out how to render 3DS stuff though for X and Y. I'm sure it's doable. Did Deerling just kill my Ditto? What did Deerling do? Dang. Okay. Stop paying attention for 2 seconds. 3DS games, though, are notoriously difficult to get on a computer. So, honestly, so are DS games. This is not easy. All it needs is one touch game. What would Darling do? What would Deerling do if this game had any more intense touch mechanics? I wouldn't be able to play it. Deerling, come on! I knew what you meant. Speaking of Darling, though, I saw that Don't Worry, Darling is on HBO, and I really wanted to see that in theaters, and I missed it. And now I'm wondering if I need to go watch it on HBO, because I feel like everybody was like, it's gonna be an awful movie and flop, but instead I didn't hear anything about it at all. And so I'm sure it wasn't good, but that may mean that it wasn't awful either. It was just meh. I'm fine with meh. Meh with Florence Pugh is better than most movies, right? She's great. It's a Deerling in the exact same spot that just killed me. Thought I would love to hear your take on it. Or maybe I will. Maybe I will. I certainly, the genre itself reminded me of games that I love. Like it's very Dangan-esque, you know? I knew what you meant too, Sneaky. Y'all are just like me with that just immediate autocorrect, like with the asterisks. Gen Z doesn't do that. I've noticed that Gen Z doesn't do that. That's not a Gen Z thing. I don't know if y'all have noticed that as well, but they don't participate. Having a moment. They don't participate in the autocorrect. They just let it roll. Let it ride. They don't worry too much. Whereas I am very concerned about my spelling being correct. And I'll do exactly what Sneaky did, where I just spam fixes until it gets right. Have you guys heard about the TikTok trend that is, they're encouraging you to spell things incorrectly to attract more views on your TikTok, because people want to comment on your misspelling, and it makes it go viral. Ain't that a kid? I work so hard making sure everything is grammatically and spelling correct, and what I needed to be doing all these years is not doing that. Clever or cringy? It's a little of both. It's a little column A, a little column B. Doing pretty well today. We're right on with 4 p.m. We're right there at 4 p.m. We've done a good job with our water bottles today. Good job, me. Good jorb. I don't know if I can do it, though. I don't know if I can spell incorrectly. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. I'm such a stickler. My little heart is still racing. Oh, man. There's got to be a study on that out there or something. Somebody's talked about it before. I couldn't do it. It would hurt too much. Yeah, I agree. It would cause physical pain. Emotional distress. I don't think I could sleep at night knowing I had those typos out there. I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm right there with you. So Cybertron, I know you asked about the DS Pokemon. What Pokemon do you have experience with? Like, what's your favorite game in the series? That might help me know if this is a wreck for you or not. There is a new Pokemon mod out there that I might be trying next week. We'll see. Oh, no, I will not be trying it next week. I might be trying it the week after that. No, we will not have Monday or Tuesday stream next week. Because I'll be serving on decon. So I'll probably make it up to you guys with a Wednesday stream. I've only really played the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. I played Emerald. I also really like that. Emerald is by far my favorite. Like, it's not even close. Like, it's so drastically my favorite. Emerald and Fire Red are probably the two that I could... Like, if right now, if I just had a feeling and, like, I wanted to play a Pokemon game on my own time, I would play Emerald or Pokemon Fire Red. Those are the two. I've had an inkling to go back and play Sword and Shield again, and I might. We'll see. But yeah, there's no telling. I always have those inklings, but none of them ever follow through except for Emerald and Fire Red. Those are the two that get me. PowerPoints. Man, we're already there. Okay, I'm gonna take your item because you're getting too many of those points. I'm gonna give it to Bryce. Bryce Green needs some levels. Into the tower! I would say this is a nice transition because it feels a lot like the Game Boy Advance games. I mean, the art style, you know, the pixel style. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, it's like Lavender Town, huh? I don't really have anybody for Lavender Town. Does anybody even know Bite? Okay, Assurance, Pursuit, Taunt. Bites. Really don't have anything. I guess Pursuit. Pursuit will have to do. I'm assuming you're a ghost trainer. I'll be surprised if you're not. Yo. Oh, maybe psychic. Which has no effect. Fantastic. Fantastic. Or no. Is that right? Maybe it's super effective. Smash. Yeah, that's not enough damage. That's nowhere near enough damage. See if that stab helps us out a little bit. Yeah. Stab is better. Stab is better. Solosis. That's fine. Nice. That went pretty well. For what it's worth, I'll take that. Nice. Sigilif? Aw, man. Is that the, like, flying one? If so, then we're in a good spot. Is it actually flying, though? We'll find out. Please? You're obviously flying, so you should be. Good. Good! Love when I'm right. Solid like a rock. Man, that was a lot of Pokemons. Another one. Speaking of not being able to leave an old incorrect post alone, I also play a lot of Go like everyone else. Well, that's awesome. We have a good Pokemon Go community over in our Discord. Exclamation point Discord in the chat if you're interested in that. But we yeah, we have quite a few players, quite a few. I see. Trying to think of how many I see active in a given day. I'm active every weekday, so I will send gifts pretty much every weekday. And I know we have a couple others out there that are like that. We had some people back during the what's the butterfly's name? Starts with a V. Vivian. We had a lot of people collecting all the different types. And that was, man, mad respect, because I sure couldn't. I do not have it in me. I think I'm gonna die. Because I stopped paying attention. Oh no, I survived. Survived! Nicely done. One thing you never anticipate when you say I do is cleaning up your... Oh, Dando, I'm so sorry. I know you mentioned something about that the other day over in the Discord. That's unbelievably stressful, my friend. Sorry that you're living through that transition right now. I cannot imagine. Heyo, quick claw. Doesn't matter because I still have the thing. I did see you're playing Vampire Survivors. That just popped up in my bottom of my corner of my screen. So enjoy some Vampire Survivors. A treat for yourself for a job well done. It's so good. It's so good. It's so addicting. It's just the most addicting game. I just found out that if your controller disconnects, you can't reconnect it. What? The game does have silly little coding errors thrown throughout it, because I had one where I had set it up just right and was doing really good, and then I closed out of it on my phone. Like, didn't close out, but like minimized it to do something on Discord or something. And whenever I pulled it back up, it had gotten glitched out. It's almost as if it's a really cruddy game that's just super addictive. It's almost like that's the case. It's almost as if it's just an abysmally cheap game that you just can't stop playing. I may have to go heal. I don't know if I'm gonna make it up to Skylar or not. I guess it depends on how tall this tower is. Ah, Pokefan, I love that shirt. But of course I forgot to switch out Hertz, so I still have a very weak Hertz in the front. I really need a ground attack with Boaz. Alright, Ditto. Go survive, hopefully. Just literally just don't die. Just literally go out and don't die. That's all I ask. Of course it did. And why wouldn't it? And why wouldn't it do exactly that? I am happy to say, Zando, that ever since I unlocked all the achievements, I have not picked up Vampire Survivor since. It's really nice. It's really nice not to play that game. After having played so much of that stinking game, it's really nice to have not picked it up ever since. Feels good. No! No! No. I don't have any super potions. I'm having a tough go. I'm having a real tough go. I was like, I'll probably have time for 2 more fights, but I can't take down this Emolga. Because I have no Pokemon that are helpful. I've really got to teach my Dwebble a ground type. Gotta happen. Sooner than later. No! No, Emolga, come on. I've got places to be. A stream has got to end. Stream has got to end, and you are going to have to just stop. Stop it, Emolga! Stop it! No! Not another one! Stop raising your evasiveness. You don't get to do evasiveness and use a hyper potion. Come on! You just don't get to do this. Not again! Emolga, I'm literally never going to be able to hit you. Thank you, North Hill Live. Welcome in, Raiders. We're about to raid out here in just a second if this Emolga will ever let me end it. Welcome in, North Hill. We're glad you're here. Welcome to Checkpoint Church, Church for Nerds, Geeks, and Gamers. I'm Nerd Pastor Nate, the Nerd Pastor here of this community. I'm currently embarrassing myself in Pokemon by not being able to take down this little tiny little mouse. But we are really a church. We're really a church plant at the United Methodist Church, doing this church plant thing here at Checkpoint. We stream most days of the week. We are active 24/7 over in our Discord, !Discord in the chat if you want to learn more about that. We got question of the day. We got all these different communities that play games together and hang out together. And then our YouTube channel every single Sunday, except for this past Sunday because I took that one off. Every single Sunday we put out a nerdy sermon in which we tackle some of your favorite TV shows, movies, comic books, manga, anime, video games, you name it. We've probably talked about it in some way, shape, or form, and relate it to our walks of faith as Christians, or how it can make us better people. Our mantras are to do good, do no harm, strive to grow, adapted from John Wesley's General Rules. And then also to let nerds, geeks, and gamers know that God loves them, we love them, and they matter across the internet. So that is our elevator pitch for you. Glad that you're here. Welcome in. Thanks for the follow, Dragon. Appreciate you. We will not be live tomorrow, if you can see our schedule. But we will be live. We'll be live again Thursday, if not Wednesday. I might do a bonus stream on Wednesday. We'll see, but definitely be live again on Thursday. Normally, we're live on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But next week, or tomorrow, no, because I've got a pretty big interview coming up. What were y'all doing today, North Hill Live? What'd you have going on? Were y'all playing a game, or some music, or some art? I did not know that it was weak to rock type. Is Emolga flying type for real? That is very embarrassing. Herdier? Literally everyone that's strong against you is dead. Evan Moses will be fine. But yeah, I hope y'all are having a good stream. We're going to raid out here in just a minute. Pretty much as soon as I get done with this, I'll give all the spiel that I just gave all over again. And then I'll find somebody to raid. It's been an eventful stream, to say the least. Okay. Almost done. Boom jams. Courtier's down. We're going to save. Just as soon as we can get out of this. Okay. While I'm doing the... Oh, no. Please don't let there be fights all the way along. Maybe not. Maybe not then. I was going to say as I'm going back to the Pokemon Center, I'll do our normal sound off, but we'll see. I can't handle this. Okay, we're getting away safely. Do I have any repels? Let's see if I have any repels. Oof. All right. Well, we are Checkpoint Church. I am Nerd Pastor Nate. I'm really the pastor here of this community. We are streaming most days of the week. We're live on our Discord 24/7, on our YouTube channel every single Sunday for our nerdy sermons. And we believe three things to be true about every single one of you out there, regardless of whether or not you believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church, consider yourself a Christian or absolutely not. Regardless of any of that stuff, we still believe these three things to be true about every single one of you out there. Number one, we believe that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number two, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here. And then number three, we believe that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Now, we're going to go find somebody to raid. It looks like Bonsai Baby. It's been a long time since we've raided Bonsai Baby. So we're going to go raid Bonsai Baby. If you would do me a favor, you did hear that I have those three things that we believe to be true about every single person out there. God loves you, we love you, you matter. If you would do me a favor, if you followed this channel, then you got access to our emote that says you matter. So whenever, instead of a raid message, whenever you go over to Bonsai Baby stream, if you would just spam you matters in the chat, that would be super cool of you. I would so appreciate you doing that. I look forward to seeing you not tomorrow. Please do lift up a prayer for me tomorrow for this big interview. I really hope it goes well. And I will see you back either Wednesday or definitely Thursday. Thank you for the raid from Love by Nerd. And thank you for the raid from North Hill Live. Appreciate you both. And I will catch you guys later. Until next time, bye-bye!